Today hit a building sheltering displaced Palestinians, and officials in Gaza say at least 60 people were killed. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
They spent all day on it. Radar is clear. It's mostly cloudy and 64 downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:02. Day 9 of the Delphi murders trial spent a lot of time on DNA. Donnie Burgess reports.
Suspect Richard Allen is accused of killing Abigail Williams and Liberty German, but so far not one expert has presented any DNA evidence putting Allen at the crime scene. State Police forensic expert Stacy Bozanovsky testified Monday that hair wrapped around Abby's fingers belonged to Libby's older sister, Kelsey German, and that some DNA was found, but not enough to make a profile. When asked if Allen's DNA was present, Bozanovsky said no. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Spinning is where street racers get together on the streets or parking lots and do donuts. It's dangerous, says IMPD officer Tommy Thompson.
They're being reckless and dangerous and putting their lives, others' lives at risk.
He tells Wish TV officers arrested several offenders this past weekend, but also impounded their cars, which they'll keep for about 30 days. That's in line with a new ordinance passed by city leaders last month. A man in New Albany is being charged with murder for shooting a man outside his home on Saturday. Court documents say Kevin Campbell shot and killed a man whom he'd been involved with for nearly a year.
The defendant is innocent until proven guilty or unless proven guilty. Court of law, these are mere allegations.
Prosecutor Chris Lane says Campbell tried to claim self-defense by planting a sword on the body. Now Campbell is facing murder and obstruction charges. New nonstop flights are being added at the Indianapolis International Airport. Spirit Airlines is adding daily nonstop service to Atlanta starting in May. Then from February 20th to March 9th, they will also be offering daily flights to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. The Indiana Pacers lost again Monday night, 119-115 to the Magic. Despite that, head coach Rick Carlisle says there was progress.
We didn't win the game, but we moved in a better direction than the first 3 games, and that's a positive.
Pascal Siakam leading the way with 26. They come home tomorrow to face the Boston Celtics. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Baer.
All right, Kurt, looking at eastbound 465 at Allisonville Road. Crash, 2 left lanes blocked. Traffic stop past Westfield Boulevard, almost to Meridian Street. Delay time. It's just ugly, 54 minutes. South side crash clear, westbound 465 at Kentucky Avenue. Still slow coming off 69 on that northbound side from Epler into the interchange. And a little bit slow as you exit westbound, but most of that traffic has cleared up going westbound. East side northbound 465 slow from 70 up to Allisonville Road. Traffic sponsored by PureTalk.com. Stop overpaying for your cell phone plan. Pure Talk gives you unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month on their 5G network. Dial pound 250 and say keyword switch now to save 50% off your first month. I'm Matt Baer. Traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
Those who don't have 20/20 vision usually do something about it. But many who can't breathe freely through their nose just live with it, not realizing they can have 20/20 breathing. At Advent, we're out to change that. With 20/20 breathing, you'll have fewer sinus infections, more energy, you'll sleep better, and you will live better. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. In 2006, Advent pioneered the balloon sinuplasty procedure. And since, thousands of our patients can tell you, this simple 20-minute in-office solution really works. Balloon sinuplasty can give you 20/20 breathing so you can breathe freely through both nostrils with your mouth closed day and night. And that can change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Stevenson Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer in Mooresville.
The forecast from the American Standard Heating Weather Center, we reach the 80s today, a high of 80 degrees under partly sunny skies. We dip down to a low of 60 overnight and clear, and then we're back into the 80s again tomorrow. And, of course, a low of 65 going into your Wednesday evening. Right now, it is 64 on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
and Casey Daniels
My government would never lie to me, would they?
on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 29th, 7 minutes after 9. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So what do you think, Rob? You want to make someone famous today?
Well, he wanted to be famous, Casey. I don't know if it's for this, but we are going to make him famous. We found. So remember when Jennifer McCormick started running these statewide ads with this supposedly, everything with her is common sense, right? It was this
Common sense abortion plan?
Yeah, common sense abortion plan, tax plan, all of these things, right? If you were to look up professionally disingenuous in the dictionary, there'd be a giant photo of Jennifer McCormick. But she starts running this ad with this supposedly, common sense, level-headed guy named Walter, and he sort of looks like this grandfatherly kind of wacky type of figure, and he's like, I'm a Republican, and then he just launches into these attacks on Mike Braun and Micah Beckwith. And at the time, I think even said it on the air, I said, first of all, they only give his first name and the county that he's from. And if you remember at the time, I told you, I said, something's very off about this ad because it's not like, hey, I'm Jim Jones and I'm the county commissioner in Steuben County and I've been an elected Republican. That's normally how you would do that sort of ad. And the guy's using profanity that they're bleeping in the ad. And I told you, I said, something is really off about this guy and this ad. And it was something I just kind of put back in the file cabinet. And then I saw the ad again yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it yesterday morning as well.
And so I put out there, I said, has anybody ever identified who this guy is?
Who is Walter? Is he an actor? Where's he from?
And so I put it out on social media. I said, this guy's in a statewide television ad. Something's weird about this. Does anybody know this guy? Like if he's prominent enough to be in a statewide television ad, surely somebody must know who this guy is. And I'll be darned, Casey. The internet is an amazing place because
located.
People started flowing in on who Walter actually was, and wowzer, is his social media just a barrel full of fun. And so coming up here a little bit later in the program, we are going to get into the hypocrisy of the Democrats, the complete hypocritical, disingenuous behavior of Jennifer McCormick and the Democrats, that they have the audacity to call Micah Beckwith and Mike Braun extreme, and then they make this guy,
Walter.
We're going to read you his posts. We're going to read you things that are on his social media. We're going to talk about things his wife has shared, which are super interesting too, given the content of that ad against Mike Braun talking about abortion.
Right.
And that is, the arrogance. It really gives you an insight into the arrogance of these politicians, that this guy has all of these things readily available, and they go, nobody will ever look for that.
Right.
So that'll be coming up a little bit later on in the program. In the meantime, I'm sure we got something very fabulous until then.
Yes, and we also have True Crime Tuesday on the way. But first, let's talk about this latest revelation about Tim Walz. It is being reported by Daily Mail and also the New York Post that he had a love affair with the daughter of a Chinese Communist Party official. This was during his teaching stint, and it was so stormy and so passionate, she thought it was going to end in a proposal. It did not. He broke it off, and it drove her to the brink of suicide.
Okay, now in fairness, there's a lot of women who thought things were so steamy and passionate it was going to end in a proposal. It didn't. So let's not hold that against Walz, right? Okay, but now this was reported.
I'm just thinking steamy and passionate with him.
Every man's
anyway.
Every man's like, yep, I did that. Kev is laughing because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so the New York Post, right, and the Daily Mail have both run something about this.
Yeah, it was the headline story on Daily Mail.
So these are legitimate, kind of mainstream outlets that are running this story. It isn't InfoWars or, even Breitbart. And Daily Mail and New York Post are both equal opportunity offenders. So this is relevant, obviously, because this was Walz clearly lied about when he was there.
Right.
And what he was doing. I mean, he was not in Tiananmen Square. He was not there for Tank Man. You know, he tells this just egregious story that's easily disproved. And then when he gets called about it, he goes, "Oh, I'm kind of a knucklehead." Hey, you lied about your military service too. "Oh, I'm kind of a knucklehead." And now this comes out. Now, doesn't mean it's true just because somebody ran a story on it, as we will showcase a little bit later in our program. But it certainly is a damaging allegation, and when you have mainstream news outlets running the story, and has he offered any sort of deniability yet of, hey, you so-and-sos are full of it, this didn't happen?
Yeah, just ignoring. It's also implied that he was helping to get her a visa as well.
Now, who was it? Which one was it? Was it Swalwell? Was the one accused of sleeping with a Chinese spy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Eric, Carl's giving me the thumbs up because he's from California. Look, I remember. I mean, I know I've told this story before, but when I first went into the State House, there was one of the politicians in there who was kind of causing some problems for one of the other parties, and it doesn't even matter now which party or who it was. But he was kind of causing some chaos, and you walk around the State House and you just hear people gossiping. That's all people in the State House do, is they just gossip all day. And you start picking up on this stuff. And I remember going to a very well-respected person in the State House. I'd been there a week or two or whatever. And I said, hey, if this is true and this guy's causing them problems, why don't they just go to the media and tell everybody what this person's doing? And, then that would solve the issue, right? It negates this guy and you're getting his dirt out there. And the person looked at me and they said, because everybody in this place, for the most part, has some dirt on them, and everybody knows everybody's dirt, and it's this secret society club where it's like Fight Club, right? Yeah. Everybody protects each other. All of these politicians, right? I mean, almost all of them have some level of dirt that you can find if you're just willing to look for it.
Well, his level of dirt seems to be a little higher. And of course, people are constantly questioning his integrity and trust in him based on the stolen valor and just the lies. And these are, trust and integrity qualities that are crucial to political leadership. Will it be a game changer for their party and their campaign? Who knows? That's up for you to decide. Another thing I wanted to bring to your attention.
You would like to put me in detention.
Detention.
Yes, absolutely.
Attention.
Well, understood.
Was that Kamala Harris did an interview with Shannon Sharp yesterday, and during this interview, they got on the topic of the Second Amendment, and now she's claiming that Trump will terminate the Second Amendment and that she's going to protect your gun rights.
Unreasonable search and seizure. Your Fifth Amendment right, your Sixth Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Yes. Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States.
Wait. No. I'm no historical expert here, Casey, but I do it. And maybe you, because you are for those you don't know, I'm going to guess we have some new listeners today, so we're going to welcome all of you in. Casey does all the work on the show. I just kind of show up and start talking. If you enjoy this program today, it is all thanks to Casey. If you don't like it, it's all Casey's fault.
Thanks.
I seem to recall in my memory bank, and maybe you have some audio of this, that at one point, Kamala was very adamant about the need to confiscate guns from people.
You might be talking about a mandatory buyback program that she was
right.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about the internet is that things are forever. So let's go ahead and flash back. Now, we just played the audio of her saying that she wants to protect your Second Amendment rights, correct? Yeah. All right, well, let's flash back. Here we go.
What would you do about the millions of, specifically, assault weapons that are already in circulation? What do you do about those?
Well, there are approximately 5 million, to your point, Craig. We have to have a buyback program, and I support a mandatory buyback program.
Oh, there it was. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, certainly that was years and years and decades ago.
That's right.
No, that was 2019.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was 1, 2, 3, 4... 5. It was 5 years ago.
Yeah. And the other question that I have about this, does she think that a president can single-handedly terminate a constitutional amendment.
Well, look at what her boss, Joe Biden, has tried to do.
Right.
So yes,
So
yes,
she probably
does.
she's taking his lead and thinking, well, I can do anything I want, right?
Yes, she absolutely does.
But-
That's the way they operate.
But how about the flip-flopping? One day she's saying, yes, mandatory buyback, and then the next day, I'm here to protect your rights.
Wait. What is this word you just used?
Flip-flopping?
No. Now, never, Casey, because it seems to me like you are insinuating that a politician might be disingenuous. Is that what you're doing?
I'm not insinuating. I'm accusing.
Yeah, because, it's like a politician would never accuse, I don't know, a lieutenant governor candidate of being a bigot and a racist and a fearmonger for saying, hey, people who are illegally in the country, who have overstayed their time in the country, who have not reported back like they're supposed to, who were allowed in this country and then have overstayed their welcome. We really need to know where those people are because they're draining resources. And if you call that person a racist and a fearmonger and a phobe, and then you let somebody be in your statewide television ad who posts a photo of Kamala looking over the floods in western North Carolina and with the caption, no money for you, we gave it all to foreigners. Like disingenuous like that.
Correct, exactly like that. I can't wait to get into that. It is coming up.
Yeah, by the way, we're just
Casey.
if you're I know you got to go to break here, but yeah, if you're coming up, look at the YouTube, it's exploding. Tons of new listeners today. Yes, we will get to Walter, the old TV face of Jennifer McCormick's statewide ad. We're going to tell you all about who she chose to be the representative of the Democrat Party.
It's on the way with 93 WIBC.
This is it.
This is it.
This is it.
Election night 2024.
The most important election.
Real change.
Incredibly pivotal moment.
Insight, analysis, opinion.
The results.
Complete election day coverage.
Never been anything like
the American people.
Drill, baby, drill.
Tuesday, November 5th, election night and beyond.
Oh, just the beginning.
Choose 93 WIBC, your election information station.
As summer fades and the cool breeze of fall sets in, it's the perfect time to get back to the basics, especially when it comes to your financial future. At Howard Bailey Financial, we believe in simplifying your retirement plan. Our team of advisors help you build a customized retirement strategy that is designed to help reduce risk, increase income, and mitigate tax. Whether you're just starting out or looking to refine your plan, we're here to guide you every step of the way. It's never too early or too late to make sure your financial future is secure. Text BASICS to 888-494-5004 to download your complimentary retirement planning toolkit today. That's BASICS to 888-494-5004. Howard Bailey Financial. Back to the basics. Forward to your future. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-791-1313. That's 800-791-1313.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
Hi, this is Richard Stevenson. We service all makes and models. Call us at 317-557-8532.
Stevenson Heating and Cooling is your independent American Standard air dealer.
You got any Trump gear? You wear it out in public? What kind of looks do you get? What sort of reception do you receive from wearing your MAGA hat? A lot of people were going crazy and were really mad at a lady who was wearing a MAGA hat. She was placed behind home plate during the World Series, and she was on camera the entire time. But there's also been some Trump supporters who have been denied entry into other locations. I'm not talking about the voting line. I'm not talking about the voting booth. I'm talking about Gen Pop locations. You're allowed to come and go and express yourself, right?
Are you though anymore?
Well, you used to be able to, right?
Isn't it amazing too, the mainstream places that Trump hats are showing up at? Like that lady at the World Series,
right?
And then you had Bosa the other night on Sunday Night Football.
Right, he showed up during that post-game interview.
Right, and you do wonder how many people now have just decided, and I wonder about this with polling. This is one of the things we've talked about with trying to figure out how accurate the polling is, which is because people, I think wrongly, I say this wrongly, I think people think, well, Trump is still going to be 5 points better than whatever the poll is because that's what he always is. I think there's more and more people that are just answering honestly now. I think Trump is ahead. I think he still may overachieve the polls, but I don't think it's 5 anymore. I think more people are just like, dude, this is my opinion, and if you don't like it, find somebody else to associate with.
There was another lady who was denied entrance to a San Francisco 49ers game, and it was because she was wearing a MAGA hat.
She can't wear it?
Yeah, they said we can't wear it.
No way.
Yes. Yes. Our MAGA hat.
I don't even but that's
Look it.
So many of people who are supporting wearing their MAGA hats, they see this as a symbol of patriotism and a commitment to putting America first. And it's shocking that those on the other side aren't into that. They don't appreciate that the Trump movement, the MAGA movement is about putting America first.
Wait. I thought Trump was the one who wanted to ban the free speech. I thought Trump was the one who wanted to deny you the ability to express yourself.
Well, that's what you're being told.
Oh, is that not accurate?
By the mainstream media.
Is that not accurate?
No, I don't believe
Trump's
so.
not the one telling you can't wear things? No. Huh.
Are you talking about the Madison Square Garden rally?
Well, I mean, I was told everyone is a Nazi there. And, you know, what's pretty wild is apparently Jimmy Carter had a Nazi rally in Madison Square Garden in 1976 because he was there. And I guess if you have a political
isn't that where Bill Clinton accepted the nomination?
Well, now, Casey, now we're raising some very interesting questions about what is and is not a Nazi rally, because is being in Madison, because that was the thing, right? He's in Madison Square Garden. Hitler was in a different Madison Square Garden, but it's still the same name. What is it? We're like 3 or 4 buildings removed from that now.
Right.
In 1939. So because Trump had a political rally in 1939 or in 2024, and Hitler had one in 1939, Trump must be a Nazi. But then I guess like the ones that Jimmy Carter and all these other Democrat politicians, they were not.
Correct.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
How do we know, though? How do we know if it is indeed a Nazi rally or not if you're having a political... I thought the act of having the political rally at Madison Square Garden, because that's what MSNBC put, right? You know, didn't they say something like Hitler had rally in 1939 at Madison Square Garden? I thought that if you had a rally at Madison Square Garden as a politician, that made you a Nazi. But we're saying that's not it.
MSNBC said Trump's MSG rally comes 85 years after pro-Nazi rally at famed arena. Although, like you mentioned, it wasn't the same arena.
Now, I wonder, in 1976, when Jimmy Carter accepted the nomination, if it said Jimmy Carter holds political rally at famed arena where Hitler had rally, what would that have been, 37 years ago? Like, I wonder if NBC ran that across the screen in 1976.
I'm sure they didn't. Well, for one, technology's changed, but for
They
another,
had cryons back then, didn't they? The little screens at the bottom.
well, journalism has changed a little as well.
That's true.
So this was pretty interesting. This is Chris Cuomo, and you want to talk about flip-flopper. Either that or now that he's no longer with CNN, he's free to express himself. But here he is explaining Trump supporters.
You got to stop thinking that the people who support Trump are like Trump, that they speak like Trump, that they act like Trump. They don't. They want to hire Trump to do a dirty job. They want him to be a virus to the political corpus. They want him to disrupt, to destroy, to demean those that they disrespect and dislike, the system that they distrust and despise. They want someone to do what they believe has been done to them and that they cannot do themselves. That's why they don't care that he exhibits terrible behavior, because they're putting him into a terrible place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you're sending somebody into the jungle, do you really care if they're a savage? You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand it that way. You may not agree, you may not accept, you may not like, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
That's what I thought as well.
I couldn't say that any better.
Right.
The people are like, oh, Trump, he's a bad guy. Look at the insider.
You need a bad guy to go do the dirty work.
Yeah, the insider. I mean, all the bull crap that goes on with these politicians that if regular people did it, they'd be, in federal prison. All right, so here's what we got to do, because coming up in a little bit, I don't know, we may need a whole hour to fully vet and expose Walter, who Jennifer McCormick chose to make the face of her statewide
Common
television
sense
ads.
campaign, yeah.
So we're going to do things a little different. Normally we do True Crime Tuesday at 10:15, but because we may need a whole hour. I mean, it could be one segment. We could get it done. It could be 3 segments. It could be a whole hour. I don't know. We decided to play it cautiously, and we're going to do True Crime Tuesday when we come back. It's one of the favorite. Look, I mean, we have so many new listeners here today that, man, they're just pouring into the YouTube chat. If you're new to the program, every Tuesday we do True Crime Tuesday. It's a segment about an incredible true crime story that has taken place, oftentimes in Indiana, but sometimes across the country. And so when we come back, Doug Coons, former FBI agent.
Right, and we're going to talk about a time that they stopped a nuclear attack within the United States.
Yeah, some dude. This somehow was not the biggest story in the entire country. Tried to actually assemble a nuclear weapon in the United States. The FBI stopped it. It's a credible story. We'll talk about it next.
Yep, we're going to jog your memory coming up from 93 WIBC.
Jennifer McCormick couldn't name a single thing she disagreed with Hillary Clinton on. That's because, just like Hillary, McCormick backed failed liberal policies. She endorsed Bidenomics, said she'd be honored to serve in Biden's administration. She opposed school choice, and she even supports biological boys playing girls' sports.
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
I did vote for Hillary Clinton. She had some great, world foreign policy experience. So, I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
It gets worse. Here's what Jennifer McCormick says about Donald Trump.
I cannot get behind that. Never voted for Trump, never will vote for Trump, never was behind Trump, never will be behind Trump. I just cannot get behind a party who is behind that type of leadership. To me, it's nonsensical.
Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She speaks this evening. It's sunny and 65 downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Vice President Kamala Harris has a big speech planned for today in the nation's capital, just 1 week ahead of Election Day. An estimated 20,000 people are expected to gather at the Ellipse near the White House to hear what organizers are calling Harris's closing argument to voters. Former President Trump's advisor Steve Bannon has been released from prison. Fox's Tanya J. Powers.
With just a week left before Election Day, the former chief executive of former President Trump's 2016 campaign, Steve Bannon, is a free man after serving a 4-month prison sentence. He was released from federal prison in Connecticut. Bannon was convicted in 2022 on 2 counts of contempt of Congress for refusing to comply with a subpoena from the House committee investigating the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Amazon founder and Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos is defending the newspaper's decision to stop endorsing presidential candidates. Bezos writes in an article on the Post's website that presidential endorsements do nothing to tip the scales of an election. Your opening bell report on 93 WYBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. After some rebounds yesterday, stocks once again falling. The Dow is off 180 at the opening bell to 42,426. The NASDAQ is down 4 to 20,492, and the S&P 500 is down 12 to 5,849. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Get in gear with fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get a brand new 2024 Navigator. Get an incredible $10,000 off plus 0% for 60 months. Or get $7,000 off select new 2024 Lincoln Aviators plus 0% for 60 months. So get some of those fall savings at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24412. MSRP 104,200. Stock number L24208. MSRP 75,300. See dealer for complete details.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, Pat Sullivan here, making sure your home is prepped for the fall weather, which could wreak havoc on your plumbing, specifically your sump pump. An efficient sump pump is crucial to keeping water out of your home, so making sure yours is working properly is a must. For October, my friends at Hope Plumbing are offering $150 off a new sump pump. That's $150 off a new sump pump that will keep your family safe and dry during this fall season. Call Hope Plumbing or visit them online at hopeplumbing.com.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Pat Sullivan here for the Michaelis Corporation. Today we're chatting with Michaela about crawl spaces. Michaela, why is it a problem if there's moisture in your crawl space?
Moisture in your crawl space can lead to mold growth and unpleasant odors. And remember, what happens in the crawl space doesn't stay there. It circulates throughout your entire home.
So how do you keep your crawl space dry, clean, and secure?
If you notice water or strange smells in your crawl space, call Michaelis for a free inspection. We're a local family-owned business that's been serving the Indianapolis area for over 39 years. If you need our services, we offer 0% down on crawl space work. You see our work before we see your money. We are your crawl space repair experts.
Keep your crawl space clean and dry for foundations, basements, and crawl spaces. When life happens, Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call or text 844-FIXED-INDY. That's 844-FIXED-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Kendall and Casey present True Crime Tuesday on 93 WYBC.
Casey, it's that time.
It is. It's True Crime Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, 10:15, we bring you an incredible case about crime and the law that has taken place here in the United States of America.
Yeah, I think I sounded maybe a little too happy about that.
Yeah.
The setup there.
Yeah, I kind of missed the boat on that.
It's True Crime Tuesday.
Much better. And today we're going to join a friend of the program. He's a retired FBI agent by the name of Doug Coons. We've had him on the program before. What a life this guy has lived. And we're going to revisit a case that he was involved involved in. He's located here in Indianapolis, but in this case, he was actually sent down to the state of Texas all the way back. This is the mid-2000s, in fact, a case involving a potential act or an attempted act of using a weapon of mass destruction, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
What an incredible story it is. Doug Coons joins us now on the WIBC hotline. So, Doug, tell us about this case involving Khalid al-Dosari.
Sure. Yeah, it's one of the more interesting cases I worked on during my career with the FBI. And back 2011, 12, something like that, I was the team leader for the Indianapolis Division's Special Operations Group, just referred to normally as SOG. And normally we would work on cases supporting our division, but occasionally when you have a big case like this, you get deployed to another division to help them out. So in this instance, this individual, Khalid al-Dosari, a Saudi student near Lubbock, Texas, was suspected of preparing a weapon of mass destruction to use against a yet unknown target somewhere in that area. So my team was deployed down there to assist to provide 24/7 surveillance on this subject to make sure that no one got hurt.
Now, he was ultimately convicted, sentenced to life in prison. We'll get to that in a little bit. But how does this even get on somebody's radar? Does somebody just call the local FBI office and go, "Hey, I think this guy could be a terrorist. You better look at him." Like how does the process even start?
Yeah, so this is one of those cases where everything worked. And prior to being on SOG, I was at headquarters where we worked in the Weapons of Mass Destruction Countermeasures Unit. And part of our job was to liaise with the chemical industry and other industries where things that can be used as a weapon of mass destruction has an open dialogue with the Bureau. So when somebody tries to buy a chemical that could be turned into a bomb or improvised chemical device or something like that, it sets off a tripwire, and they know to call us and say, hey, somebody's trying to buy, in this case, concentrated phenol, which back in World War I was used as an ingredient to make artillery shells.
So this is incredible to me. Doug Coons is our guest, retired FBI agent, friend of the show. We're talking about this case ultimately decided in 2012 involving Khalid al-Dosari. It was accused of and convicted of essentially trying to use a weapon of mass destruction down in the Lubbock, Texas area. I don't remember this thing being big news. I don't remember it being, like the lead story on Fox or CBS or MSNBC. This kind of seemed like it flew under the radar for being such a big deal. I mean, the guy was convicted of basically trying to use a weapon of mass destruction.
Exactly, and that's why I thought this one might be a good one to talk about. I never thought it really got the media exposure, and it was one of our big successes because this was the real deal. This guy had he had attempted to acquire concentrated phenol. It's used to make picric acid, which is explosive, and he had detailed plans about how to make it, where he might use it, including a shopping mall, former President Bush's home down in Texas, a nightclub. He thought about putting it in a baby stroller and putting a doll over the top of it to kind of disguise his device. So very detailed plans. And had he not been discovered, I'm pretty confident he would have attempted to set this off and could have hurt a lot of people.
What does surveillance? So you said you talk about, hey, you're in Indianapolis. You go down there to help out because this is a big deal. We think this guy is the real deal, and we're taking this very serious. What does surveillance look like?
So professional surveillance is not like you see on TV. It's very complex.
You're not in a van, like an unmarked van sitting outside the guy's
FBI
house.
surveillance van?
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, we do have vans that we do that for, but that's typically for a stationary surveillance. On something like this, you typically have a team of 4 to 6 agents on the ground and vehicles sitting at various locations, what we call choking off all the exit points, because you don't know which way somebody's going to go unless there's only one way in or out. We call that a choke point. So anyway, you get all of your team members arranged in the most advantageous spots. In this case, we also had our aircraft circling overhead. We also had, because of the severity of this case, we had court orders that we could track where his cell phone was. So on a case like this, you're just not letting him get out of pocket, as we would call it. So if he leaves, whoever had what we had referred to as the eye follows that person for maybe one, maybe two turns, not very many, because surveillance is difficult. If you're on them too long, they will notice you. And if you hang back too far, you'll lose them. So you follow them for one or two turns, peel off. The next guy in line pulls into your spot and follows him for one or two turns, and you just keep that rotation going. And, you know, with 6 cars, it would take quite a trained eye to notice that you're being followed.
Doug Coons is joining us, former FBI agent. We're talking about Khalid Al-Dawsari, who was convicted of trying to make a bomb of mass destruction. That sounds very ominous, Doug. Am I to believe that this guy who was a student in the United States, who had to learn how to speak English, was working alone?
Well, that's how it turned out. So we didn't think so either. And that's the point of surveillance, is you want to know where he's going, what he's doing, who he's meeting with. You also compromise their communication devices. So you've got wiretaps on their phones, on their internet. I think in this case they even had bugs in his residence to expose the larger organization or conspiracy. But in this case, it didn't turn out as such. He was what we call a lone wolf acting by himself.
Do you guys do anything with the private citizens who tipped you off? I mean, do they get like a ribbon or just a pat on the back?
I don't know in this case. I would hope they would have gotten some sort of recognition, because they had that wherewithal to notice, hey, something's not right here. And we always pitch if you see something, say something. Well, in this case, they saw something, they said something, and we were able to prevent a lot of people getting hurt. So the chemical company that the guy tried to buy the phenol from, they asked questions, what's it for? He says, well, I'm a student, I need it for research. And that's just not how it typically works. So that kind of set off their red flags, and they did the right thing by making the call to the Bureau.
All right, so take us through, before we let you go, take us through what an actual arrest on something that is like. Is this like something we see on TV? How does it go down? Does the guy go peacefully? Tell us how it went.
Yeah, this one, the decision was made to use SWAT. Towards the end, we had intelligence that he was becoming erratic, a little violent, kind of threw some tantrums in his apartment, tearing down cabinets and punching walls, and even had arranged to meet a prostitute that night. We followed him, stopped at an ATM to get some cash. And those are some warning signs that something may be imminent. They're kind of preparing for that last day. Although we had him in pocket for quite a while, you can never be 100% sure that he didn't already have all the ingredients and might go ahead and do something. So decision was made to send in SWAT, and he was arrested without incident. Yes.
Doug, it's an incredible case, and again, I cannot believe this was not a bigger deal. I mean, the guy was going to use a weapon of mass destruction on someone or something, and that's why you're one of the best, man. We love you. Have all these stories. You experience all these things. What are you doing now? Where can people find you?
Oh, so I'm in Carmel, and after I retired from the Bureau in 2018, me and another agent started this company, Veracity, IIR. We do private investigations and security consulting.
So, Casey, get out of line. I'm going to sick Doug on you.
Right. Well,
and look at how good he is. He got the terrorist.
Call in the SWAT team.
Think he couldn't get you?
Yeah. Oh, I think he could definitely get me if he wanted to.
Doug, what a story, man. You're the best. Thank you, my friend.
All right. You're welcome. Take care.
It is Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Big time Hammer and Nigel show 3:06 this afternoon. We've got a Delphi update. Plus, Jeff Boggs will join us and the biggest stories of the day, 93 WIBC.
Hey folks, Hunter Smith here. I spent every fall from my childhood until my days in the NFL on the gridiron. Football gave me the chance to attend Notre Dame and go on to win a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts. Football also taught me life lessons about hard work and toughness. This fall looks a little different. I'm not on the field. I'm running to represent you at the State House. And I'm taking hits from opponents. Hits meant to mislead you about my values and priorities. I'm tough enough to take it, and I trust voters are smart enough to know the truth.
Hunter Smith is a husband, father, and local business owner of Wonder Tree Farm. At the State House, Hunter will work to lower property taxes without impacting priorities like public safety. The Indiana State Police Alliance and Fraternal Order of Police endorse Hunter Smith, and Hunter will always empower parents to choose the best education for their kids. Vote Hunter Smith for state representative.
Paid for by Hunter Smith for Indiana.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Earn, save, grow. It's time your money works harder and goes further with a Stockyards Bank and Trust CD. For a limited time, earn 5.15 annual percentage yield with our 5-month CD special. Proudly serving our communities since 1904. Visit any of our 5 Indianapolis area locations or syb.com/IndyCD today and experience the Stockyards Bank difference. 10,000 minimum balance required. Limited time offer. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hey guys, it's Rob for We Grow Hair Indy, and you know, Christmas is right around the corner. I know it's still technically October, but it'll be here before you know it. And this year, if you're looking to give yourself something nice, maybe it could be the gift of getting your confidence back. And there's a chance you could do that by heading over to We Grow Hair Indy. I know from experience, it's been, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 4 years now since I made the choice to head over to We Grow Hair Indy and get my confidence back. And here's how it works. You call today, 317-522-2995, 317-522-2995. Schedule your totally free consultation with Darren and the gang. They're top-notch, first-class guys all the way. They'll take a look at what you got going on the top of your head, and they'll give you some suggestions on how you might be able to get your hair back. Then you make the call. See some examples for yourself. WeGrowHairIndy.com, WeGrowHairIndy.com, and call today, 317-522-2995. Tell them Rob sent you.
Looking for a fun, friendly alternative to spooky neighborhood trick-or-treating? Join us for Trunk or Treat. At Life Church, we're creating a safe, welcoming space for families. Enjoy a night filled with decorated trunks, tasty treats, games, and community fun, all without the fright. Dress up in your favorite costumes and make lasting memories with friends and neighbors in a cheerful atmosphere. This year, skip the scary and join us for a night of laughter and joy instead. Go to lifechurchin.com for times and locations.
When it's all over, join WIBC and Tony Katz for Understanding the Election in 3 Bourbons, presented by Premier Arms on Thursday, November 14th. Enjoy bourbon, cigars, hors d'oeuvres, expert analysis, and plenty of laughs. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at WIBC.com.
In just under 4 years, we've gone from the most respected country in the world to a joke. It's time to fix it. Those aren't my words. Those are Walter's words.
Yeah, so coming up next hour, man, so many new listeners coming in today. Welcome. Hope you stay a while. It's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. Coming up next hour, we are going to put on full display for you the hand-picked, hand-chosen person by Jennifer McCormick to be the face of her statewide television ads for her common sense agenda, the level-headed Republican, old Walter. And, this has been in my crawl since the day that ad came out. Casey, you'll back me up on this. I said, something is not right about this. And, I'd put it in we've talked about this before, about how my mind works. Like, it is this giant
file cabinet.
Just file cabinet. And sometimes the files just move around and, they don't always go in the correct order. But sometimes it's almost as though God is saying that they need to just slam a file to the front of the cabinet. And yesterday, that ad aired again, and it was like the file went to the front of the cabinet and said, you need to find out who that dude actually is, because that's weird that he doesn't give a last name, he doesn't tell you what city he's from, and there's no resonating thing like the gravitas that would come with, I'm a former state representative, I've been a state senator, I'm a Republican, but I can't deal with these people. Just some random dude named Walter. And so, I put out on social media because, we're told nobody likes me or nobody likes us, or nobody listens. So the, a couple followers or fans or whatever that we do have, the 3 or 4, however many are left. I said, would any of you people know who this guy is? And boy, howdy, for only having 1 or 2 listeners, boy, the stuff just came flooding in, and hot dang, did she pick a doozy to be the face of her. And I want to be clear. This guy, we're going to tell you about who he is and his posts and et cetera. But the real story is the hypocrisy of the Democrats. It's the hypocrisy of Jennifer McCormick. It's the hypocrisy of the Indiana Democrat Party. It's the arrogance that they had to know this guy's stuff was out there that is in direct contrast with everything they claim to be for. And if Micah Beckwith or Mike Braun had used a fraction of the language or rhetoric this guy used, it would have been the lead story in every newspaper and television station and everything else in this state. And yet they are telling you, well, it's okay because he's supposedly voting for us, so it doesn't matter.
It's okay because he's on our side. And not only does it make you question the hypocrisy, but also her and her campaign's judgment to use this guy.
Well, she's a total shapeshifter, right? And we've told you this about McCormick since the beginning. Any person, because now she does admit that she voted for Hillary Clinton, right? I've heard that in the ads.
Okay, and it played out right in front of everybody, because when we asked her, she said, I don't remember who I voted for. And now, it was Hillary Clinton. And we asked her about property taxes, and she said, I haven't heard anything. And then as soon as she left the studio, ran away and came up with a plan.
Which bankrupts the state in 4 years.
Yeah.
And then, you ask her about, hey, what about abortion? And she won't give you a number. And it's interesting, her and old Indiana Beto, Destiny Wells, then after that disastrous interview here where she would not give you a limit on when you should be allowed to suck the brains out of a defenseless fetus, then they came up with, and hot dang, Casey, wouldn't you know how that worked out? At the same time, McCormick and Beto, Indiana Beto, came up with the same language. That's amazing how that worked out, that we support the pre-Roe overturning restrictions. Of course, what they won't tell you is that California's version, which is unlimited abortion, or is that Indiana's abortion, and they still won't answer that. My point is, everything about this woman is disingenuous. There's nothing real about her. She's a complete shapeshifter. She common senses this and common senses that. No, bullcrap. And we're going to put on full display who she chose to be the face of her statewide ad campaign. I don't want to hear anything about, well, he's just a guy. No. If you choose to be the face of a statewide television campaign, if you choose to give your name and you choose to talk crap about other people running for office and use profanity, you're not some private citizen. You're not some guy, that deserves to be in the shadows. Walter wanted to be famous. We make him famous next hour.
We're going to make that happen. Okay, so Donald Trump is supposed to be holding a press conference at Mar-a-Lago this morning at 10 a.m., and I don't believe that there's any big announcement coming. I think this is just him presenting himself in a presidential way, not in a rally, not out at a stump. He's just having a press conference behind a podium, and we'll find out what he has to say.
What do you like better? Do you like presidential Trump better or rally Trump better?
Oh, or podcast Trump.
There's so many versions.
You know what? I think it's interesting because they are two different people, really. I mean, you get the comedy and the weave when he's doing the rally or the podcast, but when he's behind the podium, you get presidential Trump.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to meet Jennifer McCormick's great common sense, level-headed epitome of what a Republican should be, friend Walter. How about that?
Sounds good. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Have you heard about this guy, Donald Rainwater?
I sure have. Guy was a deadbeat dad. Total loser. Not only did Rainwater repeatedly fail to pay his child support, he filed for bankruptcy and had his car repossessed. But what did a court find he spent the money on? Cigarettes.
Hasn't he run for office twice before and lost each time?
Sure has. Maybe that's why he wants the job, so taxpayers pay off all his debts.
But there's someone even worse than Rainwater. This Jennifer McCormick character is a really out there liberal.
Yeah, she's a pro-Biden and pro-Kamala liberal. She opposed school choice, she supports boys in the girls' locker room, and did you hear what she said about Hillary Clinton?
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
She had some great, world foreign experience. So I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
Jennifer McCormick, she's hopelessly liberal.
I'm not voting for Rainwater or McCormick. They're both losers in my book.
Paid for by Indiana Republican State Committee, Inc.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office,
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Don't you deserve healthcare you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Coming up in 2 minutes, the topic that dominated discussion in the Delphi murders trial Monday, plus Harrison Silcox reports on 2 people killed in Shelby County, and the Colts coach talks about his quarterback getting tired. I'm Kirk Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. Former President Trump takes the lead a week before the election. I'm Dave Anthony.
We have taken Arizona from a toss-up to a lean Republican here.
That's Fox's Bill Hemmer. On the Fox News power rankings just out that give former President Trump a projected 230 electoral votes. Vice President Harris has 226, with 6 other states still considered toss-ups. As for Arizona,
there have been 8 polls going back to the 3rd week of September. 7 of those polls have fallen into Donald Trump's column.
Now, a week before the election, more than 46 million Americans have already voted early. Former President Trump's about to answer reporters' questions in Florida before 2 campaign events events in one of those toss-up states, Pennsylvania. Likely again calling Democrats dangerous for what they're saying about him.
He's Hitler. And then they say he's a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi.
That was at a Trump rally in Georgia, blaming Harris again for record illegal immigration and crimes migrants have committed.
Anyone who would let monsters kidnap and kill our children does not belong anywhere near the Oval Office. No, you have to protect our children.
Tonight, Vice President Harris will hold a rally at the Ellipse in Washington.
With the White House as a backdrop to offer what a senior campaign official says is an appeal to turn the page on the Trump era. Harris and other Democrats have ratcheted up warnings about a second term for the former president, describing him as increasingly unstable and focused on his own grievances. The Ellipse is also where former President Trump rallied supporters before a mob attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, 2021.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. Early this morning, ex-Trump White House advisor Steve Bannon was released from a federal prison in Connecticut after serving about a 4-month sentence for contempt of Congress. Bannon had refused to cooperate with the Democrat-led House committee investigating the Capitol riot. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It was the topic of the day. Radar is clear, 66 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. DNA was the focal point of the discussion at the Delphi murders trial Monday. An expert on DNA testing told the court that fibers found on the girls' bodies matched those of Libby German's sister and a few other people, but none matched those of Richard Allen. Several arrests made this past weekend in a crackdown on spinning. IMPD officer Tommy Thompson says though they were successful in that regard, it took them away from other problem areas.
It takes a large amount of staffing, which removes staffing from other areas of the city that need it.
He tells Wish TV those arrested will have their cars impounded for at least 30 days in line with a new city ordinance. 2 men were found dead in Shelby County Sunday, and deputies are trying to figure out what happened. Harrison Silcox.
Shelby County deputies found themselves responding to a shots fired call from Fairland around 1:30 in the afternoon Sunday. They wound up finding 2 men at a home confirmed dead at the scene. One of them a 39-year-old from Wanamaker, another a 28-year-old from Fountaintown. The sheriff's office has not yet reported the names of the 2 men or if they had something to do with the shots fired call that deputies first responded to. It's all still being investigated. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Burn bans covering pretty much the whole state as several counties take precautions to prevent wildfires. Hardly any rain has fallen in the last month. 44 counties have active burn bans, mostly in western and northern Indiana. Indianapolis Colts head coach Shane Steichen says he's addressed Anthony Richardson's decision to take himself out of the game Sunday because he was tired.
Obviously, in those situations, he knows, right, on those type of deals, like, you can't take yourself out. And, it's a learned experience for him, and he's got to grow from it.
They face the Minnesota Vikings Sunday night. The coaching carousel is still spinning in the WNBA just days after the Fever parted ways with head coach Christy Sides. So, too, have the Connecticut Sun with Stephanie White. White being speculated to be a leading candidate for a return as head coach of the Fever. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WYBC.com.
Harvey, this African safari is great. We planned just right, so we'll be home for this weekend's Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show out the fairgrounds. Yeah, we were smart to get outfitted for this here safari at the last gun show. Got big game rifles, scopes, custom-loaded bullets, crossbows, knives, even a GPS. Hey, what's that sound? Oh, bet he's after cheetahs. What, Harv? No, he's not with the IRS, you dumb bunny. You hear that? That's a rogue bull elephant, and he's starting to charge. Oh, I missed. What do we do, Harvey? Think outside the box. Well, I did. I just got a bullet out of the box. Give me my crossbow. Well, got him. Yep, he looks pretty sharp in his arrow shirt. What? He's still charging? Well, dang, Harvey, do something. Wow, with only a knife, how did you stop that elephant from charging? Oh, you just cut up his credit cards.
Celebrity voice and imaginary character impersonated. The Indy 1500 Gun, Knife, and Outdoor Show this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the State Fairgrounds.
Hey, you nip it!
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Stevenson Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer in Mooresville.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Rob?
Let's meet Walter, shall we?
Walter from Delaware County, Indiana.
This is Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. And this, Casey, I have no idea how long this is going to go for. It could be one segment. It could be 3 segments. But we are going to meet Walter, the level-headed, common sense face of what Jennifer McCormick and the Indiana Democrat Party thinks a Republican should be, because they put him in a statewide television ad in which he was more than willing to tell everyone, I am a Republican, and here's all the things that are wrong with Mike Braun and Micah Beckwith as Republicans.
Yeah, okay, so you might recall the ad. You've probably seen it. It's a picture of Walter. He's sitting on his truck bed, right? He's wearing a flannel print type shirt, and he's talking about how he's been a Republican his whole life.
Yeah, he's kind of a wacky, grandfatherly looking type of figure, and the crux of the ad, we're going to play it for you here in a second, just to remind you, is all of these areas where, I'm a Republican, but this is where Micah Beckwith and Mike Braun are just total extremists and idiots, and you should vote for Jennifer McCormick because these guys are just totally out of bounds. And so one of the things, and when this ad aired, we said on the air at the time, I said, something is wrong about this ad, because they only identify him by his first name, and they don't identify where he's actually from. Now, they say Delaware County. If normally when you see these ads, it's someone of note, stature, grandeur. I was a county commissioner. I was a state rep. So many people would go, okay, this person is, everybody will know this guy or girl or whatever. And they'll tell you the city they're from. I'm from Muncie. I'm from Avon. I'm from Fishers. Because the more connected you can feel to that person, that's why they do that in these ads, the more effective they're going to be.
Well, it legitimizes it.
Right, and you don't get anything from that guy. And I told you, I said, something's really off about this ad and this guy. And I, put it in the file cabinet, kind of forgot about it. And then I saw the ad yesterday again, and I said, I want to know who this guy is, because something still seems very off about this ad. And so I put it out on social media. I said, hey, if anybody knows this guy, let me know who he is. I'd love to know more about him. I'd love to maybe interview him. Tell me who this guy is so I can start to learn about him. And the internet is an amazing thing, Casey, because people started...
You ask and you shall receive.
...started flooding in. And... well, before we tell you a little bit about old Walter, why don't we play the ad for everybody so they have a reminder of just how really passionate and out there Walter was about his views.
Got it.
Now, I've been a Republican my whole life, but Mike Braun, I can't vote for him. First of all, Braun outsourced his work to China just to make an extra buck. I don't want to talk about abortions, but Braun wants to ban them all, and that's just wrong. And then his running mate, that guy's a bat crazy book banning piece of work. I'm proud to be a Republican, but we can't let Mike Braun and Micah Beckwith run Indiana.
Okay, I wanted to play the ad, and we'll reference that ad throughout much of the next, probably what'll be multiple segments. But it is important to realize, because we're going to tell you who this guy is. And I've heard from these people who are McCormick, people on Twitter, I can't believe you're going to out a private citizen. That guy's not a private citizen.
He outed himself the second he agreed to be in that commercial.
He's in a statewide television ad. He says his name, he says what county he's from, and he's attempting to influence a statewide election that will affect 7 million people. He's not a victim for what we're about to do here. He's not innocent. But the next couple segments you're going to hear, keep in mind, I don't even care about this guy. I mean, we're going to point out his hypocrisy. We're going to point out just the clear things that he's saying one thing on his social media that is in direct contrast with what he says in that ad. But that guy is not even the most relevant part of the equation. It is the hypocrisy and the disingenuousness of the Democrats who call Trump racist, fascist, Nazi, Hitler, dictator, threat to democracy, extreme, and then it filters down to the state level. Micah Beckwith, extremist, Christian nationalist, too extreme to be in public office. Mike Braun's a this. It's the same rhetoric. Just take Trump's name out and put Braun and Beckwith in their place. And for them to choose this guy whose language and rhetoric, Micah Beckwith would be like, dude, that's a step way too far for me, is the height of hypocrisy. It's the height of disingenuousness. And my hope is that after people hear this, first of all, they'll ask Walter, because he's a public figure, if you see him out, why he did the ad that is in direct contrast with everything he and also his wife, and we'll get to that in a second, have shared on social media. But also Jennifer McCormick. Ask her why this guy who is saying all of the things that you have labeled, the Democrats have labeled Trump and Beckwith and Braun as the ists and the phobes and the fascists and the dictators and the extremists and all the stuff, why it's okay for you to use this guy in an ad, why his views are okay, but Micah Beckwith and Mike Braun are unfit for office.
Are too extreme, according to them. Well, he starts it off by saying, I don't want to talk about abortion.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into the ad, we're going to go ahead and name him, because it's very fair that people know who this guy is, all right? His name is Walter Wigner, and he lives in the Yorktown area. And one thing that is very important for people to know is that according to the FEC website, in 2017, a Walter Wigner from Yorktown gave money to Act Blue, which is the Democrat campaign arm, and it was earmarked for Joe Donnelly.
Now, the reason you're pointing this out is because he says in the ad, now, I've been a Republican my whole life.
Right. And who did Joe Donnelly run against? By the way, that donation was receipt date, according to the FEC website, January 26th of 2017. Who did Joe Donnelly run against in 2018, Casey?
Mike Braun.
Huh! That's wild. So Walter Wigner, a supposed lifetime Republican, gave money to Act Blue, earmarked for Joe Donnelly, and Joe Donnelly ran against Mike Braun. Huh!
So not a lifelong Republican.
Boy, that is crazy. And by the way, Walter is either fine with it or doesn't know, but at least as of now, we'll see if the page goes down. All of his posts are public. Most of them, you can see these for yourself. They're obviously screenshotted, so it'll do him no good to delete them at this point. They're in multiple locations. Multiple people have them, what we're about to discuss. But so you can go see these for yourself. I've talked to multiple people to confirm he was the guy. I've talked to people he went to school with. And on his page, and I've screenshotted this as well, some guy actually posted something to the effect of that he saw him on TV. So this is the guy, right? Okay. All right. So let's start going through some old Democrat donor Walter's posts, right? Shall we?
Okay.
And again, maybe the FEC website is wrong. If the FEC website is wrong, then maybe Walter would like to clarify that about why that's on the FEC website. All right. So you remember a couple days ago, maybe this was last week, Micah Beckwith came out and was talking about these temporary protected status people in Logansport. And it's very similar to what we've heard in Ohio and other places. And Micah Beckwith said simply, we need to know who is in this country. It has been proven that many of these people far overstay their allotted time with the TPS status. They do not report, and they stay in this country. And we need to know who is in this country. We need to know, have they violated their time here? And if they are now in this country illegally, we need to remove them from the country because they are draining resources that Americans need right now. Do you remember that?
Yep.
You remember how the Democrats, their articles and the McCormick and all these people, extremists, Micah Beckwith wants to kick people legally in this country out of the country. He's too extreme for Indiana. He doesn't even know who's here legally and who's not. Micah Beckwith, he hates immigrants. What is it? Is it xenophobia? Is that the phobia it would be? I mean, there's so many now these days. You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd like to direct you. Now, this was according to Facebook, posted by old Walter. This was October 21st at 8:18 a.m. And the caption above it was in double exclamation point, remember this next month. That's the caption.
Yeah.
And the photo is of Kamala Harris. Now, I assume this is transposed AI, but it is of Kamala Harris looking down. She's on some high cliff, and she's looking down into this flooded area, which is clearly supposed to be western North Carolina-ish area. The houses are underwater.
Helene.
Right. And she's looking at this. And there is a sign right next to her. And the sign says, Casey, no money for you. We gave it all to foreigners.
What?
No money for you. We gave it all to foreigners. Now, why would Jennifer McCormick, who had denounced and called Micah Beckwith too extreme and said people have to vote against this extremism, why would Jennifer McCormick make the face of her statewide television campaign a clearly over-the-top extremist who believes that there is the reason we're not being helped in Western North Carolina is all the money we're given to foreigners? I mean, he clearly believes the same thing that Micah Beckwith believes, that there are people in this country who shouldn't be in this country, and if we weren't giving money to them, we could help other people. Why is Jennifer McCormick making this person with these horribly extremist beliefs the face of her statewide television campaign?
Okay, now, public school math, I'm going to do that. This one was posted 6 days ago, so that would be October 23rd.
Yes.
As you lace up your boots for work today, remember there is 17 million freeloaders depending on you. So work extra hard. Wait a minute.
Wait.
Freeloaders?
Can you read that again?
As you lace up your boots for work today, remember there is 17 million freeloaders depending on you. So work extra hard.
Now, Jennifer McCormick has made very clear that these people in this country are all very hardworking people. They just want a better life. They're contributing to these communities. They're the salt of the earth people. So why would Jennifer McCormick, who labeled Micah Beckwith too extreme for simply saying we need to know who's in this state, who's in this country, and if they're here illegally, we need to take care of that. Why would she make the face of her statewide television campaign a guy who said what?
He said, lace up your boots so you can pay for the 17 million freeloaders.
Okay, and hey, by the way, if you're, that's another question I think Jenny's going to really have to ask. Okay, by the way, if you're just tuning in, it's Kendall Casey Show. I know I have many new listeners right now. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Kevin is our very fabulous producer. We're just going through some of the social media posts of Walter Wigner, who is the face of Jennifer McCormick's statewide television campaign. He was her common sense, level-headed Republican who's telling you how a Republican should be. All right, Casey, why don't we take a break? Because when we come back, Walter really has a problem with some of the Muslims, it appears. He really hates Kamala. And Kev, can you play the first part of that ad again for me where he said something about abortion, didn't he? Didn't Walter say something about Mike Braun's view on abortion?
Now, I've been a Republican my whole life. But Mike Braun, I can't vote for him. First of all, Braun outsourced his work to China just to make an extra buck.
Yeah, what about abortion?
I don't want to talk about abortion, but Braun wants to ban them all, and that's just wrong.
Okay, very good. Because, wow, Walter has, and his wife, too, have some interesting thoughts on abortion that just, I don't know, not really jiving up with what I heard.
He doesn't want to talk about it, he said, but we're going to next on 93 WIBC.
This is it.
This is it.
This is it.
Election night 2024.
The most important election.
Real change.
Incredibly pivotal moment.
Insight, analysis, opinion.
The results.
Complete election day coverage.
Never been anything like
the American people.
Drill, baby, drill.
Tuesday, November 5th. Election night and beyond.
All just the beginning.
Choose 93 WIBC, your election information station.
Wealth-changing question. Are you keeping as much of your investment gains as possible? High taxes can erode returns quickly, so you need a tax-optimized portfolio. At Creative Planning, our money managers and specialists work together to make sure your portfolio and wealth are managed in a tax-efficient manner. It's what you keep that really matters. Why not give your wealth a second look? Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
At Shane Company, we make finding your perfect engagement ring fun and easy. Because let's be honest, you might feel a little stressed out. We get it. That's why we do all the hard stuff. It's our job to bring you the biggest selection of beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones, so many amazing settings, and all the customization your heart desires. We've got your style and your price range covered, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Come in for a warm welcome and leave with your dream ring and an experience you'll never forget. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
If you've ever put off dealing with plumbing problems, you don't have to live that way. Maybe you tried to fix a leaky faucet yourself, or you're wishing that slow drain is going to magically start flowing again. Well, it's not. Stop putting things off and call Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. They'll give you honest advice at a fair price, and they leave your home even better than they found it. That's ldsmithplumbing.com. And tell them your second favorite plumber in the whole world, Denny Smith, sent you. ldsmithplumbing.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or drexelin.com.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
Oh, man, it's always great to meet new friends, isn't it, Casey?
You got a message?
Well, okay. So if you're just joining, it's Kendall Casey Show. I'm Rob. Casey's here, and we're talking about the face of Jennifer McCormick's statewide television ad.
Mm-hmm.
Walter is what he goes by on the ad. His name is Walter Wigner, and he ran the ad. It's him sitting on the truck saying all the things that are wrong with Braun and with Beckwith and how they're extremists. And so, a bunch of people pointed out, I'd love to know more about this guy. And boy, howdy, did a bunch of people really pop in there. And we've been just talking about some of these interesting social media posts. Now, we do want to point out, because we're very fair here, someone who claims to be him did call the radio station during the break. We did get that message. We obviously vet who people are. We're not just going to let anybody on the air, and we want to make sure you are the person you say you are. And if that is indeed you, when we get done, because we got a lot of posts to get through here, we don't have a lot of time. We'll vet it, and if it's him, we'll bring him on tomorrow, and we'll let him explain away all of these posts.
Yeah, absolutely. But in the meantime, he's inviting Hoosiers across Indiana in choosing, quote, common sense over extremism this election. One of the things that Jennifer McCormick is okay with is boys in girls' locker rooms. However, the person that she has chosen to be the face of her statewide campaign has posted on social media on October 21st. There are men's sports for men. There are women's sports for women. It should just stay like that.
No,
that's in direct contrast, isn't it?
Yeah, hot dang, Casey. I thought if you were for the men not being in women's sports, you were an ist or a phobe or what, you didn't like trans people or what. I mean, those are their words, the Democrats' words. Certainly not ours. Like, we view it. And by the way, a lot of this thing. Now, I would not say the things the way the guy says many of these things, but a lot of things the guy's saying. It's common sense.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the things he is saying are common sense. Now, could he word them better? Probably. But that's why we start out this hour by saying it is not the guy. I mean, we're talking about the guy because it's complete hypocrisy based on the things he espouses in the ads. It's not his views or even his posts. It's the hypocrisy of the Democrats that they condemn Micah, they condemn Braun, they tell you shouldn't vote for these people because they're extremists. Then they put this guy with the exact same views that many of these people, and in many cases is even more extreme, certainly not as politically correct about expressing them, and he's the face of their ad.
I just want to read one more post. This is from October 20th. I can't completely read it. It's F Ukraine. You know what it means. We are only sending the money to protect the Biden family business interests.
Yeah, Walter's got a bit of a potty mouth, but that's okay. We're all adults here. Maybe I'll read this one here. This was kind of a fun one that he shared. Man, there's so many. I just have trouble getting through all of them. By the way, I posted some of these up at Rob M. Kendall on Twitter. If you'd like to do that, like to see that, or some of them yourself. This was one of my favorite ones. It is I don't know if this person is a basketball player, a celebrity, WNBA player. It looks like she's in a basketball arena, and she's holding up a shirt, and it's one of those shirts that clearly had something just printed on it that wasn't actually on it. But it says, "I'm with Kamala. Just kidding. I'm not an effing idiot." Now, they use the word there. So why would Jennifer McCormick, I mean, we've heard Trump is an insurrectionist, he's an extremist, he's a fascist, he's a dictator, he's a threat to democracy, he's a Hitler, he's a Nazi, and Kamala Harris is the only hope for the country. I mean, we've heard this from the Democrats. Why would Jennifer McCormick want somebody to be the face of her statewide radio or television ads that thinks Kamala Harris is an effing idiot?
Well, I've got another one for you along those lines. This was 3 days ago.
Now, real quick before you read that, I want to point out, I had Casey look into this too, right? Like, I had you search this page and all of these things, and because I said, look, I've clearly got my people that look into these things for me, and I felt pretty good about what we had. But I had you. You have seen all of these things, and you saw them for yourself. I didn't present these to you.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
So here's another one from 3 days ago. If he was going to destroy it, he would have done it in 2016. If she was going to fix it, she would have done it in the last 4 years.
Sounds like he's a pretty big Trump fan.
It sounds like it to me, too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's some other... Kev, real quick, can we just, one more time, can we play just that part where he talks about abortion? Because that's a big thing with Walter, is Mike Braun's view on supporting Indiana's abortion law. Can we just hear that real quick one more time?
His work to China just to make an extra buck. I don't want to talk about abortions, but Braun wants to ban them all, and that's just wrong.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting? He says, I don't want to talk about abortion, but Jennifer McCormick continually and consistently talks about that in all of her ads. That is her platform.
Yeah, okay, so let's take a break, because when we come back, I'm going to talk about a post Walter made about abortion, and him... Normally we leave, spouses out or whatever, but when you're politically simpatico and you're linked up, I think this one's important because it's a post that she shared that is very interesting given the view that he claimed to have on abortion.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Jennifer McCormick couldn't name a single thing she disagreed with Hillary Clinton on. That's because, just like Hillary, McCormick backed failed liberal policies. She endorsed Bidenomics, said she'd be honored to serve in Biden's administration. She opposed school choice, and she even supports biological boys playing girls' sports.
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
I did vote for Hillary Clinton. She had some great, world foreign policy experience. So, I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
It gets worse. Here's what Jennifer McCormick says about Donald Trump.
I cannot get behind that. Never voted for Trump, never will vote for Trump, never was behind Trump, never will be behind Trump. I just cannot get behind a party who is behind that type of leadership. To me, it's nonsensical.
Jennifer McCormick, hopelessly liberal. Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9379. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9379. That's 800-575-9379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
A final push. It's 68 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. The candidates have just 1 week to make their final pitches to voters. Vice President Harris will deliver a closing argument speech, as they call it, in Washington, D.C. at the same location where former President Trump spoke on January 6th, 2021, just ahead of the Capitol riot. Meanwhile, Trump will be traveling to Pennsylvania for a rally tonight after giving remarks at Mar-a-Lago this morning. Israel says their recent operation in northern Gaza was a success with the amount of militant fighters killed. Fox's Eben Brown.
Israel's Defense Force says a recent offensive in Jabalia, a city in the north end of Gaza, ended with hundreds of Hamas fighters, including many remaining senior operatives, trapped and encircled and eventually surrendering, and that the jihadists never anticipated the Israeli soldiers' operations. The IDF says their goal was to isolate the terrorists while liberating civilians who Israeli officials claim were being used as human shields. Eben Brown, Fox News.
I'm Kirk Darling. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
An official message from Medicare.
Couple more minutes, and we'll start this month's book club.
You know, I usually love a plot twist, but this year, I'm comparing my options during Medicare open enrollment.
You can't assume your current health or drug plan is the best one for you.
And you gotta make sure your drugs are covered. That's important.
So is saving money.
Review all your options at Medicare.gov. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Hi, this is Richard Stevenson. Need heating service in Johnson, Morgan, or Hendricks County? Give us a call, 317-557-8532.
Stevenson Heating and Cooling is your independent American Standard air dealer. Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Casey, why are we always the most interesting thing that happens in any election?
That's just God-given talent, Rob. Hey, there's one thing I do want to remind our listeners. This is typically the time what we do voicemails, and we do invite you to call in 317-684-8444. We'd like to give you a task. If you're after you're done voting, call us and let us know about your experience. How long the line was, if it moved quickly and proficiently, what happened as you're early voting. Just give us your quick hot take on that, and we'll be airing those voicemails the rest of the week. And we might get to a couple later in the show, but we have to continue on with this current topic of conversation.
Yeah, so if you're just joining us this hour, man, boy, we are the most interesting thing in Indiana politics and government. I mean, let's face it, this governor's race until right now has been kind of a snooze fest, and I'm talking about, all the candidates collectively. But, there was several weeks ago, the Democrats, Jennifer McCormick, ran an ad featuring a guy named Walter. They didn't give his last name. He claimed to be from Delaware County. And they run this ad. He's a grandfatherly, kind of Wilford Brimley-looking type of character. And he launches into, I'm a Republican, but here's the things that are wrong with Mike Braun and Micah Beckwith. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I said this on the air. I said this to you privately. I said, there's something off about that ad. And I said, I think one of the things I pointed out is, who's going to be moved by some anonymous guy who's not from where you're from?
Why doesn't he attach his last name to it?
I'm Joe Smith, and I've lived in, I'm just picking out places here. I've lived in, Kendallville, Indiana, my entire life. I'm a Hoosier through and through. I'm a third-generation farmer, and I know what it means to be a Hoosier. And then you launch into the thing, right? There's this point of identifiability. Or like we said, if you pick some elected Republican, I'm Sally Jones, and I'm I'm the treasurer of Du Bois County. Obviously, that's not a real person. That these people are not real, right? And so you're like, okay, here's the point of identifiability. Why should I trust you? Why should I respect you? It's just some random guy sitting on a truck from a county I'm not from. I don't even know his last name. Why would I vote for him? And so it told me, it said, they, being McCormick, are really struggling to find somebody, a Republican, to be in this ad. And they picked some guy, and if they ain't giving his last name and they ain't telling you anything about him, there's something off about this.
How true are his convictions? And he starts off the ad by saying, I've been a Republican my whole life, with the exception of in 2017 giving money to the Joe Donnelly campaign when Joe Donnelly ran against who? Mike Braun.
Yeah, and let's point out again, you can search this yourself. Walter Wigner is the guy's name. You can look this all up for yourself. And according to the FEC in 2017, Walter Wigner from Yorktown gave money to he gave it to Act Blue, which is an arm of the Democrat Party.
But he earmarked it for
Joe Donnelly, who ran against Mike Braun. So it does really, right out of the gate, call into question what I've been a Republican my whole life is giving to Democrats.
Yeah.
Right? Now, like I've supported and given to libertarians because Republicans weren't acting like Republicans, or independents when Republicans weren't acting like Republicans. But that was because the next guy was going to be more Republican. I don't think anybody was like, Joe Donnelly would be more Republican than whoever the Republicans are going to get out of here. Come on, right? So that's giant red flag number one. And if you catch somebody in one, then it goes downhill from there. And by the way, this guy is a public figure. He was in a statewide television ad. He put his name out there. He put his county of residence out there. He's not a victim. He's not some guy we shouldn't be naming. He's not some harmless person. He made a conscientious decision. He is a grown-ass adult to try to alter the outcome of a governor's race that affects 7 million people.
He wasn't held against his will.
No.
They didn't force him to put his face on camera.
No. All right. So, real quick, I want to play just a little snippet. I know we've played it multiple times, and we've read, you can see this guy's, did we read the one about the Muslims? Did I read the one about the Muslims?
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay. Before we get into the abortion stuff, here's a post from Walt dated October 24th. Now, I can't say the words because I wouldn't be allowed to work here anymore, but here we go. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
How the F did we go from honoring those who died with Poppy Day to stop it offends Muslims? Now, Muslims is misspelled, but it's Muslims.
Yeah.
Who gives a F? I will wear my poppy with pride. Now, can you imagine if Micah Beckwith made that post?
Oh, boy.
Can you imagine what Jennifer McCormick and Destiny Wells and Mike Schmuel and the big muckety-mucks over there at the Democrat Party, can you imagine what they would have said, and the ist and the phobe, and demand he resign and be removed from the ticket, and Mike Braun condemn him? And yet Jennifer McCormick chose that guy to be the face of her statewide television campaign.
Here's another post.
Not very nice to the Muslims.
This is from 2 days ago, and he's commenting on Kamala Harris.
Oh.
I am not, all caps, I am not with her.
Ooh.
I'm appalled at the amount of women who support her simply because she's a woman.
Ooh.
Take a step back, do your research. Think about your future, your family's future, and the future of your children, because she's not it.
Wow, that's pretty harsh, man. Jennifer McCormick. I thought if you were for Trump, you were supporting a dictator, a Hitler, a Nazi. Why would Jennifer McCormick let somebody who supports a Hitler, a dictator, a Nazi, a fascist, Now, we'll get to the point of why we did this little exercise in just a minute. But when we close here, and boy, there's tons of posts from Walter that you can look at, and it's my understanding his social media is still up if you'd like to see it for yourself. I'd like to talk about abortion for a second because Walt is big on abortion in this ad, and that Mike Braun supports Indiana's abortion law, which doesn't ban all abortions by any stretch of the imagination. Health, the mother, incest, rape, exemptions for all of those. There's a window where you can still get an abortion. All of those things are allowed. So Walt's got his facts a little bit off, but I don't one of many things Walt's a little bit off on. We won't hold that against him. But let's just play real quick for reference before we talk about Walt's post here, shall we?
I don't want to talk about abortions but Braun wants to ban them all, and that's just wrong. And then his running mate, that guy's a crazy book-banning piece of work.
Okay. All right, pause that, because that's important, too, because remember, Micah Beckwith didn't ban any books. There were no books kicked out of the Hamilton library. He just said, hey, books with sexual content should be in the adult.
Can we move them?
So I want to read this post from Walt, and then we'll talk about a post someone close to him made, because abortion's a big deal for Walt, right? Like, Braun's way out of step on abortion. This was October 22nd at 9:54 a.m. If you think an 18-year-old is too young to own a rifle, but a 16-year-old is mature enough to vote, a 14-year-old is old enough to get an abortion without parental consent, and a 3-year-old is mature enough to decide their own gender, then you are the problem.
Oh.
So he's against Mike Braun saying, hey, 14-year-olds shouldn't be able to get abortions without parental consent. He's against Mike Braun being for that, but he's for it and it's okay. And he's for Micah Beckwith not wanting sexually related content in the children's section, but he's outraged that a 3-year-old might be mature enough to decide their own gender. I don't know, Casey. Look, I get unbiased in this election, but that sounds, well, those opinions seem to be clashing together.
They're contradictory. Yeah.
All right. So I want to play this last clip. This was actually posted by his wife. We're not going to name her, but they share many of the same, belief systems and styles.
As many married couples do.
She shared this video, and Casey, correct me if I don't believe there was any commentary on it that was, this is horrible, and I can't believe this is not the way it was. If you share something without clarifying, I'm against this, or this is bad, or laughing at it.
It makes people think you're for it.
Yeah, I think a reasonable person
would
assume
agree
you're
with
for it.
this.
Here is a video. It's a very famous video, but it's of Charlie Kirk having a debate with an abortion supporter, and take a look at what Walter's wife apparently thinks is really good.
Since you're a medic, when does brainwaves begin for a baby?
Within the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, okay. So brainwave, how about heartbeat?
6 weeks.
Right. So how is that not a life if it has a heartbeat and brainwaves?
When you have this child inside you, right, the baby is supposed to
Oh, it's called a baby now. Oh, not a fetus. So wait, if it's a baby, that means it's murder.
So if you care about children...
Oh, now it's a baby. We got him, everybody. You see, this is the key of the abortion argument. It's a fetus. It's a clump of cells. But every so often, they'll use the word baby. And you and I both know babies deserve constitutional protection.
Then where is the help
murder.
for them once they're born?
The help? I'll tell you the help. We give them Medicaid. We give them charitable assistance. By the way, we know we have 2 million people on the adoption waiting list. 2 times as many people on the adoption waiting list than abortions every single year.
How many people do you know actually adopted a child?
A lot, actually. How many of you guys were adopted? A lot of people. Look at all these miracles of adoption around you. Praise God that your mom didn't have an abortion. Praise God your mom didn't have an abortion. Praise God your mom didn't have an abortion. These are all miracles that I'm glad that your mom had the courage to put you up for adoption and have somebody else raise you so that you could be here today and enjoy life. We are the crusaders of life. The Democrats are the cult of death.
So, pretty strong there at the end. Does Walter believe that his wife is also a radical extremist like Mike Braun? Because she appears to have the view that is almost identical to Indiana's abortion law, which is supported by Mike Braun. So my question to Walter would be, is your wife wrong? Is she an extremist? Is she too far out there? Is she too far radical?
You know, when they said the word baby in that clip, it reminded me of when Jennifer McCormick was here in the studio and we had the discussion and we were trying to find out what her term limit is. What is the date that she agrees with? And she used the word baby.
Yeah, that's right, because that's what it is. It's a baby. It's a life, and you're killing it. So real quick, I know we want to wrap things up. We got to get with Hammer. Let's talk about real quick why we did this segment. I think it's important.
Well, there's a couple questions that I have. Why did Jennifer McCormick's campaign choose him?
Yeah.
Was he paid? Does he have some personal vengeance against Mike Braun? And why is he not attaching his last name to the ad?
Yeah, I ran these segments, or wanted to do this topic I don't even really care about this guy. I mean, I need to point out his hypocrisy to you about how things he's posted on his personal page are in direct contrast with what he told you in the ad. You can decide what he actually believes. I don't know if he knows what he actually believes. The guy is almost irrelevant in the process because a lot of things that he posts, now I would not say them that way, I would not use those language. There's a lot of things that conservatives do agree with because they're right. Like a 3-year-old is not mature enough to decide their own gender. 14-year-old's not old enough to get an abortion on her own. Those are all things we should universally agree with. The problem is the Democrats don't.
But at the end of the day,
the people he's supporting don't, Casey.
At the end of the day, this is not about Walter. This is about the McCormick campaign putting him in the ad.
Right. Jennifer McCormick was desperate to find a Republican. Now, from Yorktown, where was she superintendent? Yorktown. You people start drawing lines and doing math. I think they probably really struggled to find somebody who would attach their name to it. They found this guy who, for whatever reason, was willing to do it. But it shows you the arrogance of that campaign that they just believed nobody would ever look. And quite frankly, if it weren't for me, nobody would have. They would have. It's like Scooby-Doo, right? I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. But here's the reality of what you're dealing with. Jennifer McCormick is a total hypocrite. She's completely disingenuous. She is what we have told you from the moment she was the nominee. She's a complete shapeshifter with no core value system whatsoever. And I realize I'm taking a huge leap of faith on this, Casey, that after 3 segments on the most powerful media outlet in the state showing what a complete disingenuous hypocrite she is, that she chose somebody to be the face of her campaign, her statewide television ads, that is in direct conflict with almost every core view she espouses to have this time, that somebody in the media might finally ask her, why did you pick this guy? What do you have to say about this? Oh, yeah, and will you condemn and denounce this guy the same way at every turn, every debate, you've demanded Mike Braun condemn and denounce Micah Beckwith, because this dude is way more extreme than Micah Beckwith has ever dreamed to be in.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC, and Jason Hammer joins us next.
Big time Hammer and Nigel show. 3:06 this afternoon. We've got a Delphi update. Plus, Jeff Boggs will join us and the biggest stories of the day, 93 WIBC.
Hoosiers need a fighter to protect our jobs and our values. I'm Todd Rokita, your Attorney General. I fight for you, and together we win. Suing Biden because he's opened the border to illegals who are killing us, harming our kids, and driving up our taxes. Stopping federal bureaucrats who kill jobs and jack up our electricity prices with their failed Green New Deal that does nothing for our air and water. Keeping criminals behind bars where they belong. Recovering millions of dollars from welfare theft, fraud, and from opioid drug manufacturers, all to protect your health and your tax dollars. Creating the Parents' Bill of Rights so you can protect our kids from those trying to corrupt them while you're at work. Successfully keeping boys from competing in girls' sports and defending, of course, our pro-life values. And the Gun Owners' Bill of Rights so you can defend yourself and your family. I'm Todd Rokita, and with your vote this November, we'll keep fighting and winning together. Paid for by the Todd Rokita Election Committee.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-0198. That's 800-291-0198. 800-291-0198.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-0395. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395. 800-285-0395.
Real Stories with Hellsberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted.
Yep.
I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
Don't you deserve health care you can count on? Well, you can count on United Healthcare with Medicare plans that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. You can enjoy reliable coverage and low out-of-pocket costs with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plans. Made for Indianapolis, trusted everywhere. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIPC.com.
From the #1 rated Hammer and Nigel show, Jason Hammer in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning. Excellent breakdown on Walter, by the way.
What a guy, right?
Like, I never knew I would be so captivated listening to a #1 rated radio show talk about why we need to discredit a hillbilly. But here we are. Like, I couldn't get out of my car. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, boy, the hypocrisy of these people, right? To put that guy in the ad, Jennifer McCormick, when his actual beliefs are in direct contrast with all the stuff that, Beckwith's a this or that or a phobe or an ist, and Braun's a, extremist, and this guy's way more extreme than those two guys could ever dream of being, and he's the face of their TV ad.
What's the response on the YouTube chat and the Twitter box here?
My favorite thing now, and you're starting to see it come out from the McCormick people, now not her campaign, I'm sure she has to pay 7 highly compensated consultants before she's allowed to speak, but the excuse now is, well, he was just a part of the campaign. Braun and Beckwith are the candidates.
Okay. Now, again, before the mob comes after me when I called this dude a hillbilly, I can say that because I am one, right? I grew up in Beech Grove. I went to college in Muncie, and I got family from Tennessee and Kentucky. So I kind of feel like I know what I'm talking about here.
I've got some experience.
Well, you pointed out, we probably made this guy the most famous Walter in the state, and you were pondering other famous there aren't a lot of famous Walters in society.
People who go by Walter, not Walt or anything like that, right? So just Walter, just off the top of my head, without using Google.
Okay.
I'm coming up with Walter the puppet that Jeff Dunham has.
Yeah, Walter the puppet. We love him.
Walter Payton.
Yeah.
Walter Mondale.
Yeah.
Walter Johnson, baseball legend.
Kev pointed out Walter Matthau.
Walter Matthau, yes, that's a great one.
I've
Good
got
job,
Walter Cronkite.
Walter Crowe, that's a big one.
Yeah.
So what are the ones so far? Who do we got? Because there's got to be a Mount Rushmore of Walters here. That's what we do here,
Walter
right?
Payton.
Yeah.
The puppet, Walter.
Yeah.
Walter Mondale. Walter Johnson, old baseball legend. Walter Cronkite and Walter Matthau.
That's
Walter
6.
Reed.
Walter Reed.
From Walter Reed Hospital.
That's true. Now, is he famous? Did he just give, I mean, obviously there's a hospital named where all the military, are housed, et cetera. But, is he famous for being, his name is famous, or did he do something?
Well, he was a U.S. Army physician.
Right.
Which the hospital is named after him.
I know, but I'm saying, he didn't, pull 30 men from battle during a war and simultaneously do CPR on all of them and keep them all alive or something like that.
Well, I'm not completely versed on Walter Reed, but I will get that information.
Yeah, find out if he did
you.
some. Is he like Forrest Gump or something? Or
So if you're doing Mount Rushmore, this would be my list, and feel free to disagree here.
Okay.
We're going with the puppet. We're going with Walter Payton. We're going with Walter Matthau and Walter Cronkite.
Yeah, I knew you'd have the puppet in there. Look, I don't know if you can put a puppet on a Mount Rushmore. Even though the puppet Walter
the puppet's more credible than Walter Cronkite toward the end of his career.
Here's the thing: the puppet was such a big part of the Lieutenant Governor convention.
Like the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah,
season.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Walter the puppet because that was actually our nickname for Julie McGuire, who was running against Micah.
Well, let's be honest; it looks like Biden too, right?
That's true.
That's right.
I don't know. It's hard to argue now that you're selling me on this. Because I thought, well, okay, so you went Peyton, Puppet, Cronkite, Matthau.
Yes.
And the other two were Walter Johnson or Walter Reed.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything about Walter Reed? Did he do some great heroic thing?
No, but I'll look for
Willis
it really
Reed
quick.
greater than Walter Reed. I don't remember Walter Reed running out of the tunnel injured, coming back into a playoff game to lead the Knicks to a victory.
Are there any other? Because there are several famous or well-known Walts. Like there's Walt Weiss, famous shortstop.
Walt Whitman, fireside poet.
That's
okay,
right.
so
Williams.
Walter Reed played a crucial role in the understanding and prevention of yellow fever.
But he didn't save anybody in the field of battle or anything.
Puppet greater than Walter Reed.
Somebody would have figured out yellow fever eventually anyway. It's not like something that only one person could have done.
If you put pictures of all these people up there, how many people know the puppet's name is Walter more than Walter Reed? Right.
Yeah, no. I think you're right. The puppet belongs on the mountain.
Yeah, I think it's hard to. I think you may have. I mean, Walter Johnson, the big train, one of the greatest pitchers of all time. But how many modern people know Walter?
And if we have room for one athlete, it's sweetness. It's Walter Payton.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally. I think you got it right, as you usually do. What's coming up this afternoon?
We are going to have not Kenny Rogers, Jeff Boggs in. We have got the best Delphi update in the city at 5:06 with Guy and Donnie, and at 5:33 caller roulette.
Wait! You're gonna hate yourself because you missed an obvious one. We all missed it. Walter Brimley.
Oh,
you love Walter Brimley.
Oh man!
Thanks, Hammer. It's
Come
Kendall
on.
and Casey. It's 93
Oh, no, it's
WIBC.
Wilfred.
Have you heard about this guy, Donald Rainwater?
I sure have. Guy was a deadbeat dad. Total loser. Not only did Rainwater repeatedly fail to pay his child support, he filed for bankruptcy and had his car repossessed. But what did a court find he spent the money on? Cigarettes.
Hasn't he run for office twice before and lost each time?
Sure has. Maybe that's why he wants the job, so taxpayers pay off all his debts.
But there's someone even worse than Rainwater. This Jennifer McCormick character is a really out there liberal.
Yeah, she's a pro-Biden and pro-Kamala liberal. She opposed school choice, she supports boys in the girls' locker room, and did you hear what she said about Hillary Clinton?
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
She had some great, world foreign experience. So I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
Jennifer McCormick, she's hopelessly liberal.
I'm not voting for Rainwater or McCormick. They're both losers in my book.
Paid for by Indiana Republican State Committee, Inc.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center. Our multidisciplinary care team will guide you every step along the way.
It was very overwhelming at first, but I found this whole community of people who are understanding and just very supportive. So I have a lot of thankfulness and gratefulness for who I am through this and after this.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Pacers basketball is ready to run it back and show the world our time is now.
With 1 and 6/10 seconds to play, Halliburton with a chance to make it a 3-point game.
Be there on Wednesday for an Eastern Conference Finals rematch.
Neesmith beat the shot clock, and the crowd tells
shows you the result.
Your Pacers collide with the defending NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, Wednesday at 7. Get your tickets at pacers.com/tickets. Pacers, Celtics, Wednesday at 7.
Don't stress about plumbing repairs. Call L.D. Smith for honest advice and a free second opinion on any estimate.
L.D. Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Donnie Burgess reports and rather recaps the 9th day of the Delphi murders trial. Plus, the crackdown continues on spinning throughout Indianapolis, and the optimism is growing that IU will have their starting quarterback return this weekend. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recycler Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
Will history repeat itself? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Former First Lady Melania Trump thinks it very well might, which would make her First Lady again, telling Fox and Friends this morning.
I feel it's kind of the same like 2016. The support out there, it's incredible.
Former President Trump's about to talk to reporters at his resort in Florida. Then he'll have 2 campaign events in Pennsylvania. The day after saying Democrats' rhetoric is dangerous, calling him a fascist and Nazi.
I feel
this is the kind of outrageous rhetoric that has resulted in 2 assassination attempts in the last 3 months, probably. I could say that that's probably right.
That was him in Georgia. In Michigan, Vice President Harris urged voters
to turn the page on the fear and divisiveness that have characterized our politics for a decade because of Donald Trump.
Now, today she'll be in Washington, D.C. at the Ellipse, reminding voters about the Capitol riot, speaking where then President Trump spoke January 6, 2021, before his supporters stormed into the Capitol. Fox News power rankings just out this morning give Trump a slight lead in the Electoral College race, shifting Arizona from toss-up to lean Republican, with 6 other states still too close to call. Fox's Alicia Cunha is in Phoenix.
Voters in this battleground are among those in 10 states also deciding on abortion access. Reproductive rights are a big issue here behind the economy and immigration. Gwen Walz, wife of VP candidate Tim Walz, will be in Arizona today for Get Out the Early Vote events and plans to focus on issues impacting families.
Now, the election's a week away, and next Tuesday, Fox News Radio will have special live coverage of election results starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, foxnewsradio.com. The economy remains the biggest issue for a lot of voters. We just got a report showing more Americans are optimistic. The October gauge of consumer confidence had the biggest monthly increase since March of 2021. But the number of jobs that companies have reported and opened in September dropped to the lowest level since 2021. America's listening.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's the stuff that makes you, you. Radar is clear. It is 69 and mostly sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:02. That would be DNA. Donnie Burgess reports so far not one expert has testified to finding Richard Allen's DNA at the Delphi murders crime scene.
Delphi teenagers Abigail Williams and Liberty German were brutally killed, as testified to by law enforcement. However, no DNA linking back to Allen, who's charged with the murders, has been presented in court so far. Hairs found around Abigail's fingers belonged to Liberty German's older sister, Kelsey. There was one definitive male DNA profile that did pop up, but it was from a lab tech who wasn't wearing all of his equipment. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Spinning is where street racers get together on streets or parking lots to do donuts. It's dangerous, says IMPD officer Tommy Thompson.
They're being reckless and dangerous and putting their lives, others' lives at risk.
He tells Wish TV officers arrested several offenders this past weekend, but will also impound their cars for at least 30 days. That's in line with a new ordinance passed by city leaders last month. New nonstop flights are being added at the Indianapolis International Airport. Spirit Airlines will be adding daily nonstop service to Atlanta starting in May. Then, from February 20th to March 9th, the airline will be offering daily flights from Indy to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. Gas prices jumped for the first time in nearly 3 weeks on Monday. $2.96 is now the average for unleaded in Indiana today, says Gas Buddy. Evansville, with the cheapest gas in the whole state, as low as $2.50 a gallon at some stations there. Confidence is growing that Curtis Rourke will be back under center as soon for the undefeated Indiana football Hoosiers.
Optimistic on Curtis Rourke. He's thrown the last few days, building up. Workload will increase as the week goes on.
And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Head coach Kurt Signetti yesterday. Indiana is at Michigan State this Saturday. I'm Kurt Darling on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplant procedures available. The accuracy and the precision of the Artist Robotic FUE is what clients love the most. Get the results you want with our Artist FUE or multi-unit hair grafting procedure.
Don't wait. Call today and find out more about the Artist Robotic FUE at WeGrowHairIndy.com. Call 317-522-2995 for your hair evaluation. 317-522-2995 or go to WeGrowHairIndy.com and grow your hair back today.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for 1951 cabinetry. Visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Stevenson Heating and Cooling, your independent American Standard air dealer in Mooresville.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, October 29th, 5 minutes after 11. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to speak with Micah Beckwith. We're going to ask him his thoughts on the Walter campaign for Jennifer McCormick. We're also going to get his reaction to the latest article that Abdul had put out about a story that's 4 or 5 years old now.
Wait. Time out. Wait a second. So Abdul put out a story that everybody that knows what's going on in the city knew years ago, and he didn't call Micah before putting the story out. But then Micah, instead of running from it and ghosting us, said, "Sure, obviously, come on and talk about it."
Yeah. So he's going to do that coming up in just a bit.
Did that happen with somebody else? Was there somebody else we asked when there was a story that came out about them?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a news story.
We asked him. We never got a reply.
Yeah.
And still haven't, actually, to this day.
That's pretty crazy. So Micah will be here with us in the next segment to talk about that, and that'll be a good time we had by all. In the meantime, how are the Democrats ruining America, Casey?
Okay, well, here's the question I have for you, because this is going on with me. And over the weekend, I was visiting my mom and my sister, and my phone kept pinging, and I would jokingly say, "Oh, that's Donald Trump. He's texting me." And my sister, at one point, I think she believed me because she knew I went to that rally in Butler, and she kind of gave me that look like, seriously? Like Donald Trump is texting you?
Oh, no.
And I had to set her straight. And I said, well, because of that event, I got on a list, and now I get multiple texts a day from Donald Trump's campaign.
No, you got to be. Your sister is a very intelligent person. There's no way she actually thought Donald Trump was texting you.
I think there was a second there where she was like, really? Like believing it, because, we are quite popular, Rob.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a number one program on a number one station.
That's true.
So right. I think there's a little believability in there. But like I said, I get these texts all the time, like from Donald Trump. I wore this right after Joe Rogan. It's Trump. The gold dark MAGA hat is here, limited release only. And then another one. Please answer question number 1 before my FEC deadline tomorrow. And then another one from Donald Trump. Can I ship you a signed photo before my deadline? And then another one. Hey, the ultra dark MAGA hat is here, limited time only. And obviously, if you click on the link, all of these things are just campaign.
What percentage of people do you think see that? Whether all these candidates do it. It's not just Trump, obviously, but they're like, yeah, I really do need a dark gold MAGA hat.
I like it.
I totally was about to say, but I didn't want to come off as seeming like mean-spirited.
I like it.
But I thought about saying you would probably buy that hat. You could be convinced into it. Did you buy it?
I didn't. I may have mentioned it last night. That I kind of like it. I like the gold one, and I also like the black one. But so it made me curious, when you get all of these text messages from candidates, and some people reply to them instead of just the stop to opt out. Maybe they'll reply with something funny or even something vindictive. And is there someone on the other end that is receiving your reply to that text.
Yeah,
Now,
I never thought about that.
I thought, this is just all robo, right? It's all set up with computers. It's just automatic, right? There's not really somebody on the other end sending this out, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, there is. It's number 7.
Information is available to us through something called a voter file. That's publicly available information that campaigns use to do phone calling, door knocking, and text messaging.
Sometimes you get the stuff that you kind of have to okay, we're not gonna contact those people again.
We do get emojis, though. We know thumbs up is good, poop emoji.
This isn't just a bunch of trolls in a basement trying to piss you off. This is people who care very deeply about democracy.
There was one time I texted a voter. He had said, I would love to support your candidate, but unfortunately I'm a convicted felon. I don't think you can vote. In this state, you can vote after, release, which was the case for him. So once I sent that to him, he was like, oh, thank you so much. Now I'm going to vote for your candidate.
We sent out.
So you can actually reply to these texts, and there's somebody on the other end. And in 2022, 15 billion political texts went out. Of course, the Supreme Court made a decision, and they decided, yeah, you're free to do some unlimited political texting.
Isn't that wild that, and it wasn't all that long ago, when I was running, you would have to go to the county government center. They had there's a system by which they'll give it to you. Regardless of party, it's not partisan. You go and you request, I'm a candidate, and they'll give you the list of people who voted, how often they voted, and then you work off that list. Now, I just was like, I'm just going to every house. It's too hard to work off a list. I got these flyers. I got nothing but time. Boom, 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 boom. But a lot of people, that's how they do it. But now it's all electronic. It's all, it goes to people's phones. There's, whole companies that are built around. Here's the targeted door knocking.
Yep.
And it's interesting that instead of phone banking now, it's so much more effective from a time perspective. Don't have to pay people, whatever. Just do a direct text message to somebody.
Yep. They can send out about 500 at a time. But if you go to reply to it, some of them you'll get a reply back. So it does turn your phone into a campaign billboard.
It does. Because I've always wondered this. It doesn't, in no way am I like, ooh, I was going to vote for Trump, but Kamala sent me a text. Ooh, I better change my vote. But it must work in some level because it costs money to do it, and they wouldn't do it if it didn't work.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm also on a Kamala one. That's more for research than anything. I've stayed.
What do
on
they
it.
say?
You know what? I was just trying to find one. They're not as good as the Trump ones.
Are they asking for a vote? Are they asking for money?
Now here's the thing: the Trump ones will be like, please, just $5, just $9. Every single one that I've gotten from the Harris campaign, the minimum is $47.
No kidding.
So their ask is much bigger.
Because that's what president she would be. She'd be 47 president. That's probably why they do that.
You think that's why she chose $47?
There's always a reason for the number. It's always strategic.
It comes across as much greedier when you compare just $5, just $9.
Well,
and she's saying 47.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a strategy behind all of it because these people don't flush the toilet without asking a consultant if it's okay. So there's a strategy behind whatever they're doing. I wonder how many people are swayed though by a text message. All the ads, all the everything, and you do wonder. You hear about Pennsylvania. They've spent hundreds of millions of dollars in the state of Pennsylvania on television advertising, et cetera. You do wonder that is one thing that hasn't seemed to really change despite technology changing is political ads on radio and television, which means, we play them all the time here. They must work because that is one thing that has now. They've gone to the streaming. Or
they'll buy banner ads on YouTube or wherever you're at.
Right, and I'm sure it probably is cheaper, not in all cases, but what's interesting is how targeted it can be now. So Chris Hansen, it's called True Blue. Chris Hansen a couple of years ago started a channel dedicated to all law enforcement. Now, of course, it's centered around, he does these catches still. They're not nearly as cool as they used to be on To Catch a Predator, much lower budget, et cetera. But it centers around that, and it just runs all day, and they just run it on a loop, and it's different law enforcement-related programming. A bunch of it involves him. But the ad that I see all the time on that network is, and it's a streaming network, is Todd Rokita ads. It'll, cut off in the middle, 30-second Todd Rokita ad, boom, back to Chris Hansen catching child predators, right? So you can target it down to that point now where I want to be on this streaming show, that's available on this platform. I mean, it's amazing how pinpointed it can become.
We need to talk about Todd Rokita coming up, but up next, Micah Beckwith is going to join us.
So we're going to ask him about this Walter guy who's the face of the McCormick ads who, he makes Micah Beckwith look liberal, and we'll find out about his thoughts on the hypocrisy of McCormick using such a radical right-wing Republican in her ads, despite saying, Micah is basically the devil on earth, and we'll get, because Micah's a man, and he's accountable.
He's not going to run away, huh?
And that's what we should want from our politicians. We'll ask him about that article Abdul ran, that 4.5-year-old article that's been very well known, apparently by everybody other than Abdul in political circles here in the city. We'll get to that next.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
When this election is over, we're all going to need a drink. Come to think of it, let's book that now. WIBC and Tony Katz present
Understanding the Election in 3 Bourbons.
Brought to you by Premier Arms.
Thursday, November 14th. And we're going to try and get the answers.
He'll then explain the bourbons that go nicely with election analysis. You'll get a cigar.
There's going to be bourbon. There's going to be food.
A cash bar. And stimulating conversation.
It's going to be an incredible night.
Get the details and your tickets before they sell out at WIBC.com.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
This November, Indianapolis will play host to one of the most prestigious culinary competitions in the world, the World Food Championships. From November 8th through the 12th, the city will welcome over 300 cooking teams, battling in 12 unique food categories.
All of this is going down at the Indiana Farm Bureau Fall Creek Pavilion. It's inside the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Food samples, cooking demonstrations, celebrity chef appearances, family fun zone, and more. To learn more or buy tickets, visit worldfoodchampionships.com.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves, but don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors. For 1951 cabinetry, visit Drexel's Kitchen and Bath Design Centers at 146th and River Road, North Shadeland, or DrexelIN.com.
Oh my goodness, Casey.
Yeah, Rob.
What a day of radio it's been.
I know. Crazy stuff going on, huh?
You know, the hypocrisy of these people who run for public office, the disingenuous, quite frankly, the arrogance of these people, it knows no bounds. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. If you missed the last hour, now we don't care what you do during Tony Katz, so wait till noon. But you have to go back and listen to the 10 o'clock hour where we told you everything you needed to know about Walter.
Walter.
The guy from Yorktown who Jennifer McCormick put as the face of her statewide ad campaign, the common sense, level-headed Republican who told you,
who's going to vote blue this year.
He told you how bad Beckwith was and Braun was, and it turns out that guy makes whatever Republican you're going to find on the street look like a liberal because, oh my gosh, he is as far radically right as you can possibly get. And the fact that they put him in this ad, which his beliefs, his posts, I mean, they are contrary to everything the Democrats claim to be for. These are all things that if
Micah said them or Braun said them.
Would there be an Indy Star article?
Oh, my gosh, the hypocrisy of these people. So Micah Beckwith joins us now on the WIBC hotline. We'll get into the other stuff involving you here in just a second. But, Micah, the reason we did this today is because it is the hypocrisy of people like Jennifer McCormick. It's the hypocrisy of people like Destiny Wells who are bragging about, oh, we have these people who are voting for Trump. They're also voting for us. But I thought Trump was a Nazi. I thought Trump was a Hitler. I thought Trump was a fascist. And now we find with this Walter guy, there's not many people who would make you look like a liberal, but this guy would be it, and they're proud to have him because he supports them.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we all know it. The left they're the biggest hypocrites in the world. The art of projection is their strength. Whatever they are, they project it on their enemies. And so if they're the ones trying to go after me for saying I want to, ban books or I'm really radical and I'm gonna push something that's not American, it's them that's doing it. I mean, they're the ones that hate free speech. They're the ones that want to fundamentally deconstruct America, build it back up into a socialist utopia. And this is what we're fighting against. And so I always say if they come at me, I'm just doing something right because I'm over the target. And so I'm honored to take the arrows from the left because they're the crazy ones. They really are.
Here's the perfect example of what I'm talking about is, so last week you had come out and said, hey, these TPS people that are in the country in places like Logansport, many of them have overstayed their legally allotted times. They're using taxpayer resources. We got to know who these people are. We got to know where they are. If they have broken the law by staying there over their legally allotted time, then we've got to deal with that. The Democrats rush out and call you an ist and a phobe and a racist and all of these things. And the media hops on it then. Well, the Walter guy.
The one who's the spokesperson for the Jennifer McCormick campaign.
Right, post this, and I have it up at Robin Kendall on Twitter. You can see it. The Facebook, the Kendall Casey page has it up. It's a picture of Kamala Harris with the flood, right, in North Carolina. And she's looking at the flood, and it says, remember this next month. And the sign next to Kamala says, no money for you. We gave it all to foreigners. That's infinitely worse than anything you've ever dreamed of saying, Micah Beckwith. And yet, that's okay for Jennifer McCormick because, well, Walter is supporting her.
Yeah, well, they're liars. I mean, Jennifer McCormick, the Democrats, they're just flat out liars. They will do anything they can to deceive the public, get them to think that somehow they're the ones of common sense, and they're not. They're open borders. They think boys can use girls' bathrooms. I tweeted about this Walter guy when they ran this ad. They said they called me bat crap crazy, and I'll clean it up here because it's radio, but that's not what they used a different expletive. But I said, hey, the party that's calling me bat crap crazy is the same party that thinks boys can use girls' bathrooms. I mean, they don't even know what a woman is, and they're trying to call me crazy. It's like, yeah, okay, I'm just normal. When the crazy people start calling you crazy, that just means you're normal. So cheers to being normal.
Well, on October 21st, Walter posted, there are men's sports for men. There's women's sports for women. It should just stay like that.
I got to find this Walter guy. I mean, he's going to get a high five and be like, man, hey, look, you're speaking out against the crazy left. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know why he was bamboozled into getting suckered into doing this ad. But again, that's just what the Democrats do. They'll wine you and dine you. They'll tickle your ears. They'll tell you what you want to hear. And then they'll stab you in the back.
And then use you. I think the word you're looking for is use you.
One other thing I wanted to point out, because we talked about this last hour. So in that ad where they've got this Walter guy who's the common sense Republican, right? He talks about how Braun is basically a nut because he supports Indiana's pro-life law, pro-life legislation. And he acts like, I'm not really for abortions, but this is just, crazy or what, I forget exactly what he said. But then you find out Walter's wife, and we played this last hour, who's every bit, it appears, as conservative as he is, shares this video, which we played, of Charlie Kirk depancing some pro-abortion advocate. And again, Micah, it's like the hypocrisy of you people, Jennifer McCormick, the left, where they're using this Walter guy because, well, he'll say that he's for you, but his abortion position is every bit the same as yours and Mike Braun's, Micah Beckwith.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, again, the Democrats are just totally disingenuous. They're dishonest. They are flat out lying to the people of Indiana and to the nation. I mean, that's what they do. I mean, just look at how Kamala has to word salad everything. She can't answer anything from a straight perspective because they don't have an answer. They know their answers don't work, and so all they have to do is, put a bow and a nice shiny box around the turd that they're trying to sell, and hope you buy the box, and then you open it. Like, oh my goodness, what have we gotten here? And so again, I think when it comes to Mike Braun, with me, with any of the Republicans that I have met and seen on the trail, it is common sense. It's limited government. It's get the government out of your way. It's cut taxes. It's making sure that parents are the ones that are educating their children and have the rights over the government. I mean, it's things that we've never argued with over, the centuries of being a nation, sovereignty, protecting our border, making sure that legal citizens have the rights that, and the taxpayer dollars are going to fund what they're doing and not giving it to the whole world. And so I think it's just common sense that I see in the Republican Party, and the Democrats are against all of that. And so they really are crazy. I don't know how else to say it.
Okay, real quick before I let you go, because this was a big topic yesterday, and we wanted to give you a chance because this is what we do on this show. If somebody presents something, we give them an opportunity to explain. You explained it to me. It's been the same story you've told me for years now on this. Abdul apparently thought he was Indiana Jones because he was 4.5 years late to the party and thinks he uncovered this incredible story about you involving money that you owed and paid. And look, we handled it the exact same way with you. We tried to handle it with Rainwater. We said, we'll reach out to him. You told me we don't need to have an off-the-air conversation. We'll have an on-the-air conversation. You told me what happened, and you said, I told Casey yesterday exactly the way we reached out to Don Rainwater, who didn't respond to us. You said, I'll totally come on. Do you want to, again, tell, just because, again, apparently Abdul can't stay up with the news or what other news outlets in the city are covering, do you want to tell everybody about how you've paid all of your obligations back many, many, many years ago?
That's right. So in 2007, 2008, I owned a business, an embroidery franchise, and it was I sold it. And there were two bills that didn't get transferred over. There was a credit card bill, and then it was $1,000, and a sales tax bill that was $700 that in the month of the transfer did not get to the new owner. So I sell my business, got married, moved to Noblesville, where we're at now, and, was on a different, journey in life. And so a couple years later, I get a notice that Allen County is, going to garnish my wages. And I'm like, for what? And I looked into it, and it was like, well, you have these two bills. And then they, by that point, they'd accrued interest. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I had called my lawyer, and I said, why didn't they tell me? And he's like, well, you don't have to. It's small claims court. They can just issue judgments, and then you find out when a lawyer calls you. And I was like, that's ridiculous. But then I paid it and moved on. And so when Abdul wrote this story, I'm like, this came out when I was running for Congress. This came out before the convention. I mean, they always bring the same stuff, tired arguments up, like Micah didn't pay his tax bills. It's like, no, I paid it the moment I found out about it. But then the other thing that he said, there's some sort of contempt of court. So I asked my lawyer, I said, hey, that's news to me. Look into that. And because he said there's something still possibly outstanding. And it's Abdul, right? He's sort of the National Enquirer of Indiana politics. And so I didn't put a whole lot of stock into it, but I said, just to be safe. And so my lawyer looked into it, and he said, hey, there's nothing out there. What you paid back in 2008 when you sold your business, he said that was it. And so I don't know where Abdul is getting his facts. And to your point, he's 4 years late to the party. But I keep addressing it. It's funny because people will be like, we got him now. And then it's like, oh, crap.
Well, but the fact he didn't call you, I mean, he ran the story without calling you, and that's crappy journalism. I love Abdul. I've known him for many, many years. I've never known him to do a mainstream story, which he says that's what his website is, without contacting someone. He clearly has your number. I've given it to him multiple times. And the fact that he ran this story without calling you, that is horrible journalism from Abdul.
Yeah, so I think the story came out on Saturday. At least that's when I saw it. And then Sunday, in the middle of church, I get a text message, and he says, hey, I'm sure you've seen my story by now. If you'd like to comment, I'm all ears. And I was like, oh, my God.
So he ran the story before he reached out to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it was, and so again, and I listen, Abdul and I are friends. I don't have any ill will, but he's part of the media. He's part of the Indianapolis mainstream media, and they're liars, man. I hate to say it, but they just do not tell the truth. I've seen it more and more as I've gotten into this political world, and I always knew it to be true, but it is really true. They do not want to be honest in the reporting, whether it's the Indy Star, whether it's Abdul. All they want is clicks and eyeballs to get on their stories, and they will sell whatever they need to sell. They are the journalists are the new used car salesmen of our culture, and that's the truth. And I hate it. We need good journalists, but I don't see too many good journalists anymore. So it's sad, but that's what we're dealing with.
Luckily, we're shock jocks, Casey. We're not journalists.
Correct. So, Micah, if I were just to kind of underline this or bullet point it, this is an old story that some people are trying to bring new life to. They're trying to, have a gotcha moment with you, but you've been honest about it. You didn't run from it, and you paid it off and put it to bed as soon as you were made aware of it. Is that correct?
That's 100% correct. Yep.
All right, we're done with you, Beckwith. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hey, wait, one last question.
Yeah. No, we're done. We got to go to break.
No, I got one last question. Micah.
Yeah.
Did you vote?
I did. I did vote.
Who'd you vote for?
Pretty much straight ticket.
Okay.
I'll let you decide which ticket it was, but pretty much straight ticket.
Perfect.
All right, we got to go to break.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Micah. You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A new man in charge. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. Hezbollah has a new leader.
Naim Qassem will be the man in charge, the new leader of the Iran-backed group, and likely a target for the Israelis. Hezbollah continues to target northern Israel with large rocket barrages. Today, at least 50 rockets hit communities still full of people, killing one person. Yesterday, 150 rockets were launched, with some of them being intercepted by Israel's missile defense system, the Iron Dome. Israel continued its strikes against Lebanon.
Fox's Trey Yangst. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon is out of jail just a week before the election. He locked out of a federal lockup in Connecticut just before dawn this morning. The right-wing podcaster served 120 days specifically for failing to comply with its investigation into the Capitol riot. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Are you ready to take control of your safety? Premier Arms is the place to consider, and they're more than just a gun store. It's a community for empowered women dedicating to helping you find the perfect firearm. Hey, it's Casey Daniels. That's how I felt when I shopped at Premier Arms. I asked them a lot of questions, and they treated me with respect, and they'll do the same for you. Premier Arms is in Brownsburg. They're also online at premierarms.com. Their phone number, 317-858-3030.
If you're driving a car or truck with an expired warranty and suddenly lost your transmission or needed a full engine repair, would a $4,000 repair bill leave you stranded? I'm Danica Patrick. Don't get caught off guard with a vehicle breakdown. Choose the company I trust, Endurance. No matter the mileage, if your vehicle is less than 20 years old, Endurance offers auto protection plans for any budget. Protection on the drivetrain, electrical, transmission, AC, and more. Plus 24/7 roadside assistance and rental car reimbursement on any plan. Endurance handles everything, from making the claim to paying the certified mechanic of your choice. Act now and get 1 full year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
Endurance has paid hundreds of millions in claims. Call for your fast free quote today. Call 800-291-0198. That's 800-291-0198. 800-291-0198.
Looking for a great place to go for car care?
Hi, this is Lonnie Hinkle from Jiffy Lube, and I'd like to share the top 5 reasons that every Hoosier should trust Jiffy Lube to help keep their car running safe and well. Number 5, our computer system holds the maintenance data for every make and model. We know exactly what your car needs and when it needs to be done. Number 4, Jiffy Lube's training system is in the Training Magazine Hall of Fame. Along with companies like Ritz-Carlton, Starbucks, and Nordstrom's, our team does the job right. Number 3, you never need an appointment. We are ready to serve you whenever it works best for you, so come on in and see us. Number 2, Jiffy Lube accepts competitor coupons so you can get our great service at the desperate price of our competitors. And number 1, Jiffy Lube is a one-stop maintenance shop, and we make it easy for you to take great care of your car. Avoid the repair shop by getting your maintenance done at Jiffy Lube. And we now offer brakes, tires, tune-ups, and minor repairs at most stores.
So head to Jiffy Lube. There's really no reason to take your car anywhere else. Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577. Service today. Today.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job, and Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance, and Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Stevenson Heating and Cooling is a proud veteran-owned company. 317-557-8532. Don't forget to get out and vote.
Stevenson Heating and Cooling is your independent American Standard air dealer.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIPC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
Well, it's the portion of the program we turn over to you. We normally do it at 10:30, but we had to table it today because we had more pressing things to get to.
We had to talk about Walter.
We did.
Woo, boy.
But we did get some phone calls we want to share. 317-684-8444 if you'd like to get involved.
Real quick, I didn't mean to cut you off, but if you have not listened to the 10 o'clock hour, we did basically the whole hour, save for our little segment with Hammer there at the end, about Walter, the supposed common sense, level-headed Republican that Jennifer McCormick put in her television ad, and his actual views on things. And
she would consider extreme.
Oh, if Micah Beckwith's extreme, this guy should be put on an island somewhere by himself based on how they've treated Micah Beckwith. And we pointed out the hypocrisy of all of this and the disingenuousness. So we don't care what you do during Cats. So wait till noon, and then you can go back and listen to that 10 o'clock hour. It's simply unbelievable the posts this guy's made on social media.
And speaking of that ad, here's a phone call about it.
That's no surprise that she just found somebody with some of the craziest or some of these posts, and I think it's going to show the hypocrisy of who Jennifer McCormick is. She's a fraud. She's a complete fraud. She was picked up by, Upford, the Chamber's campaign manager, and all these other people, and she cosplayed with an R next to her name, and she's proving yet again, even with a D next to her name, she's proven to be more fake than she has ever been before.
That dude's spot on, because here's the thing. And you can not like Micah Beckwith all you want. He is what he is, and you're always going to get someone genuine who's going to look you in the eye and tell you what they think. But he's not even the top of the ticket. He doesn't matter in the equation, right? He matters from the standpoint I think he will help Braun push items across the finish line next year that we need, like property tax reform. That's what, it's fascinating to me, because people are like, Rob used to rip on Braun. Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm. And the reality is we continue to tell you about the things where we disagree with him, and we will work to hold him accountable. But here's the choice you have to make when you go into the ballot box. If you want your property taxes fixed, you have one shot. Doesn't even mean it's going to work, but you have one shot. Jennifer McCormick does not care about your property taxes. She is not going to fight for you. Her plan is not feasible or workable, and it will never be enacted. You have one chance of getting that plan across the finish line, and that is Mike Braun. And my pledge to the people, the voters, is I will do everything in my power. If Mike Braun is elected governor and Micah Beckwith lieutenant governor, I will use the power of this show and the power of our social media and everything in my power to rally you, our audience, here or online, to and organize to get that thing across the finish line. We may ultimately fail, but at least you have a chance. You have no chance if you go with her. And so I do not think Braun is perfect. There's many areas I disagree with him. But let's get the big things passed next year. Property taxes, universal school choice, major government reforms, and then we'll fight about the gas tax and these other things. None of that has changed. I've never said it's changed. I am, and with McCormick, aren't you just tired of being lied to? Like, this woman was a Democrat, then she was a Republican, now she's a Democrat again. She can't remember who she voted for president. Then, oh yeah, I voted for Hillary and Trump's awful. Then she puts the world's biggest Trump fan in her TV commercials. Micah Beckwith's an extremist, but then she puts a guy in her TV commercials who's 10,000 times more extreme than Micah Beckwith. Like, aren't you sick of this crap? Whatever you think about Braun and Beckwith, at least they're real, genuine people.
And her pick for lieutenant governor.
Yeah.
He flip-flopped on his choice.
Let's talk about him for a second. Terry Gooden, old terrible Terry, shall we?
Yeah.
This is a guy who for 20 plus years in the General Assembly was pro-gun. He was pro-traditional marriage. And as soon as he gets picked by her, he
that
flips.
all came crumbling down, didn't it?
He flips. He also supported a whole variety of measures that you might say, okay, that's a middle mainstream person. And as soon as he got that position, he just completely changes them. Is that what you want running your government? Is that what you want? You have two choices here right now. You have that or you have Braun. At least with Braun, you have a chance. If you believe in this show, at least we have a chance. And I'm excited, Casey. I'd love to go fight for our audience next year. Do you want us to fight for you or not?
Okay, speaking of Micah Beckwith, somebody wants to call and explain why he gets attacked all the time. I say it's because of his convictions.
They're a terrible party, and the reason why they hate Micah is because he's a man of God. He stands up for what God wants and what God says, and they hate that. You know? Notice they always they attack people like that. Just like they did, any of these evangelists on TV or whatever, if they stick up for, babies or whatever, they get attacked.
He's right.
Yeah.
People hate Micah Beckwith because of his faith. Absolutely. They hate him because of his devout, unwavering dedication and his boldness about his faith.
And do you realize as much as they attack him, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Every day there's an opinion piece in the Indy Star attacking him. Has he flip-flopped? Has he wavered? No.
Yeah, and so
he stuck to it.
I see people say, well, Braun didn't really care about property taxes until you guys forced him into it. Right. It shows the influence of this show. It shows if you listen to us every day, you believe in us to some extent, and you believe and recognize the power of this show. Don't you want for once to have the firepower of this show and this radio station behind something going on in the State House? Aren't we tired of being outsiders just bitching about what's going on in there? Don't we want to have a puncher's chance to actually get something accomplished and say, we have people who listen to this show and actually are influenced by this show? Why wouldn't we want that? Somebody goes, yeah, you know what? I made a mistake. You guys are right. I heard it from the people. I've changed. Why wouldn't you want that for once?
You want to be an active participant.
That's what this is all about. It's about, I've spent 7 years on the outside. Look, here's the arc of my life, right? We're honest about what goes on here. I was always an outsider who was let into the inside. And eventually somebody in the power structure figured out, oh, he's not kidding around. And of my own volition, I said, I can't do this anymore. I hate myself. I hate being around these people. I hate how miserable I am fighting this all the time. I got to find a new way to fight. I left politics to go back into radio because I believed radio and educating and motivating a large amount of people was the only way we're going to fix this. And for 7 years, I've tried to play outside of the system, which is, man, if the libertarians could just get their act together and be a viable third party and they can start taking votes from Republicans and that'll show the libertarians are not getting their act together. They're an unorganized, unserious group of people. I've tried everything in my power. They will not fundraise. They will not organize. They will not do the thing. So I am trying a new way to try to get something done here.
Within the system.
Which is you have somebody who says, if I'm governor, I hear your audience. If I'm governor, I hear you. If I'm governor, I want many of the things that your audience wants, and I'm willing to listen to them. Let's try that for once, because the other way, it ain't working.
By the way, Mike Braun is going to be joining us tomorrow. So we solicited for people who have gone through early voting and to tell us about your experience. So here's the first of 2 calls.
Hi. Yeah, my husband and I voted early at St. Luke's United Methodist Church on Monday. And from the time we tried to find a parking spot to getting in line, getting through the whole process of voting was a total of 3 hours. It was a good chunk of our day, but on the positive side, 1, we voted. 2, we had very congenial people around us that we became pretty good friends with during that time of waiting and standing in line. And also, it was a beautiful day to be outside. We didn't have to deal with any negative elements in terms of weather. So we got it done. It was a long wait, but it's for a good cause. And I'm thankful to all the people who volunteer their time there to work.
Now, I haven't seen a report on Indiana in a week, but I did see one based on Michigan. Early voting in 22, they had 11,000 early voters. This year, they have 100,000.
Did you vote yesterday?
No, I did not. The line was really long, and I wasn't dressed appropriately. It was. I knew I was going to be outside for a while, and I was like, okay, I got to be better prepared. So I need to dress a little warmer.
Yeah, I got to go Thursday, and I'm taking 2 other voters with me. So if
Good for you.
You're running out of opportunities to really win my family vote. So if you're a candidate, you better start sucking up to me.
All right, one last phone call, and this is about early voting.
Hello, Kendall and Casey. Hope you're having a good morning. I got to vote yesterday, early voting. Very long lines everywhere. So if people are going to vote, they need to get out early because I have a feeling Tuesday is going to be crazy. However, I do appreciate the checks and balances the state has put into our voting process. I feel like my vote is safe and secure, and people will not be voting that should not be voting, like crazy Nevada, late turn-in ballots and all this stuff, and all that mail-in stuff. But the only suggestion I would have for the state of Indiana is the process at the front of the line at the table takes too long for people to get through the line. They need to double up the people at the front of the line because they can't keep them voting booths full of people. But great day. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never had a problem on election day. That's the thing. But it's
Neither
like
have I.
my mother wants to go vote early, and so it's like, okay, fine, we'll go do it together.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, my wife then has to go, and so it's like I just feel like it would be shorter on election day. But I'm locked into Thursday.
Okay, you're locked in. That's what the dude's been saying as well. He's like, I think I'm just going to go on election day if I go early in the morning. Because there's more places available.
You look at the amount of people who have early voted, and that's why I waited way into the process. Eventually, it starts to trickle. You would think it would start to trickle down, right? Like people get it out of their system. They've early voted. They've, whatever. But
okay, we've got one more phone call we have to share next. It's from our fan.
Oh boy, our fan singular.
Our fan. He loves us so much. I mean, like, I'm really expecting a Christmas card from him. I hope you are picking up the sarcasm.
Hate mail coming up.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Big time Hammer and Nigel show 3:06 this afternoon. We've got a Delphi update. Plus, Jeff Boggs will join us and the biggest stories of the day, 93 WIBC.
Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Life Church. You know, we love Life Church. They've had such a great impact on my life, on my family's life. And one of the things I love about Life Church is over the years, how many people who are WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church. I know I meet them all the time at Life Church. Life Church is warm. They're welcoming. They'd love the opportunity to meet and welcome you and your family. So this Sunday, if you're thinking about something different, if you're being called to something different, could be a first church home or a new church home, Check out Life Church. They've got campuses all across central Indiana, Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, plus awesome online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
Fall in Indy is great, but don't spend it painting. Do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint. And the crew?
Painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house and all the pillars. And once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
And right now, Indy, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price. Plus, there's more great news. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer affordable monthly payments with 0% interest loans to qualified customers.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield. It's really a great product, and that would be the way to go.
And here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
Call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint. Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Have you heard about this guy, Donald Rainwater?
I sure have. Guy was a deadbeat dad. Total loser. Not only did Rainwater repeatedly fail to pay his child support, he filed for bankruptcy and had his car repossessed. But what did a court find he spent the money on? Cigarettes.
Hasn't he run for office twice before and lost each time?
Sure has. Maybe that's why he wants the job, so taxpayers pay off all his debts.
But there's someone even worse than Rainwater. This Jennifer McCormick character is a really out there liberal.
Yeah, she's a pro-Biden and pro-Kamala liberal. She opposed school choice, she supports boys in the girls' locker room, and did you hear what she said about Hillary Clinton?
Did you vote for Hillary Clinton?
She had some great, world foreign experience. So I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
Jennifer McCormick, she's hopelessly liberal.
I'm not voting for Rainwater or McCormick. They're both losers in my book.
Paid for by Indiana Republican State Committee, Inc.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code EASY, or text EASY to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code EASY.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text EASY to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy and drive, it could be low testosterone. Get your levels checked at Low T Center. They have over a decade of experience helping patients with testosterone therapy or TRT.
Now, for established patients, they offer the convenience of physician-monitored at-home TRT with advanced treatment that includes lab testing and medication. Low T Center ships right to your door. LowTCenter.com. Book right now. LowTCenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
As Cybersecurity Awareness Month winds down, LifeLock reminds you to update your software regularly. These updates fix security flaws that could be exploited by identity thieves. But don't stop there. LifeLock offers comprehensive identity theft protection that goes the extra mile. LifeLock not only alerts you to suspicious use of your info, but also takes action to resolve identity theft issues, guaranteed, or your money back. Start your 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS. Terms apply.
The Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show is this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. For hunting, sporting, and personal protection gear, visit the Indy 1500 Gun and Knife Show.
You want to listen all day to WIBC, but you don't always have time. Don't worry. There's a podcast for that. The WIBC Mashup. Daily highlights from your favorite hosts, Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, and Hammer and Nigel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Here we go with one last hate mail. This is our number one fan. Everybody, please meet the person who thinks that Taylor Swift and Beyonce are good barometers of how you should vote.
Seriously, you guys are so easy to impress. I mean, Trump gets a bunch of B, C, and D-list celebrities out there to spread his vile message, and couple of E-list celebrities are cheering that because, my God, those are really smart people. And then you turn around and you get Harris out there. Hell, she gets A-list celebrities. She gets, real entertainers. She gets Mark Cuban, who, while not as rich as Elon Musk, who is just in it to buy himself a cabinet position, at least he gives something back to the American people, and he doesn't, spend half his time making deals with Putin. So, yeah, you guys go on and cheer Mr. Mussolini and his brown shirts and go for it, because you're going down next Tuesday. Might as well get used to it. Just be glad Harris isn't Trump, because if she was like Trump, you guys would be off the air Wednesday.
Oh, the movie never ends. It goes on and on and on and on and on and on.
I just want to point out how Elon Musk supplied Starlink to all of those hurricane victims.
Also, unless Donald Trump was going to somehow just take every radio station in the country off the airwaves on his own with the magic wand, we would still be here. We'll be here Wednesday no matter who wins. We'll still be number one no matter who wins. Y'all will still be listening whether you love us or hate us no matter who wins.
He does call every day.
That's amazing,
So
isn't it?
He hates us so much.
Why would you do that? What a show we had today. We are the most entertaining thing going on in Indiana politics and government, and it ain't even close.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you for listening and watching. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Rob. If you want to grow your hair back, check out the precision and accuracy of the Artist Robotic FUE at We Grow Hair Indy. You'll be amazed at the permanent natural results you can get and get back to work ASAP. Darren Andrews, Clinic Director of We Grow Hair Indy, is here to tell us more.
The Artist Robotic FUE hair transplant at We Grow Hair Indy, one of the most sophisticated hair transplants